This video contains subject matter that may be offensive and disturbing to some people. If you are the type to require a warning throughout a video or show, let this message serve as your warning. This channel discusses the harsh reality of true crime. If this warning is not sufficient for you, consider a different genre and unsubscribe from my channel immediately. What's going on, freaks? Kind of another shitty mass shooting again. I mean, I'm not gonna cover it. So if you need to go, if you're really just like, oh, I need to know more about a mass shooting of kids, go ahead and find some place that's talking about it. Okay, I'll just say an 18-year-old kid, I won't say his name, a psycho in Uvalde, Texas, went into a school. Armed with his, the classic AR-15s, and ended up, first there was 14 kids dead, and it turns out now there's 18. Killed 18 kids between 7 and 9 years old, and he killed his grandmother, and he killed a teacher, and then himself. So, altogether 20 people died and one barbarian. Well, actually he didn't kill himself. He was shot by an elite border patrol. I think they're called, can't remember what it was, but they showed up on the scene and they shot him and killed him. So far there's 21 people dead. There might be more later because there's still wounded people. And it's just it's a nightmare. Like when you sit around and you think about, like, when there was one dad that was on the scene. And he's like, yeah, I heard about the shooting, then I came here, and I can't find my daughter. And so, wow, that's when you really realize, like, man, that's incredible. I don't think it was suicide by cop. I think he just got killed. I think they just took him out. So anyways, he, I don't even know what to say. It was just sad so that parent that was talking probably has a child that's dead, but they didn't know it at the time. And just think about all the kids that are in the rooms when they're friends and they're seeing them get killed in front of them. They're never going to want to go to school again. I mean, it's an absolute nightmare. And so, when you try to figure out, like, hey, what do you do? How do you fix something like this? Everyone always goes, people on the left always say, oh, it's guns. You got to get rid of guns. And then people on the right want to do, put security guards in schools and everything, but somehow the people on the left don't like the security guards in the schools. So I don't really know the answer to me seems like our country right now is so devoid of sort of the traditional morals and values that people used to have, that people just, shit like this is going to happen. That's really where the biggest problem is we can't do anything anymore. We can't spank kids. You can't report them. It's almost impossible to get anything done anymore because everything is so PC. I don't even know all the examples. I just know it because you hear it all the time. And it's like, oh God, here we go. Oh, break after break after break after break after break. And now we just got a country full of wackos, absolute chock full. So that's the part that sucks about it. There's got to be somewhere in the middle somewhere, I think all schools should have locked doors. And if you don't make it to school on time, you don't get to go in. And you do have people there that are armed. Maybe even teachers. I remember that was trying to be done, but they wouldn't let it. Oh, how could you tell a teacher with, tell that to the parents after 18 kids get killed. If any of them wish a teacher had a gun on them. Yeah. So, anyways, I don't know if that's the answer or not, but that's it. There's nothing really to discuss about the case, like, ooh, let's try to figure out what's going on, you know. It's just a psycho went into a school and just started shooting people and killing a bunch of little kids, just like that happened in Sandy Hook. And guess what, everybody? It's a true event. It actually happened. It's not a false flag operation. There's no crisis actors running around. It actually happened, okay? So if you're one of those people, you know, maybe perhaps the type that'll watch that other YouTube channel, the psycho that's going around threatening people. So here's the thing. Let's bring this. I got to bring this up now. All right. So here we go. So if you missed it on the, you know, I post some of these in the, you know, I showed some of you guys this. So this psycho YouTuber that's been attacking Kelsey is now threatening to kill people. All right. So in his video, I played that part last night where he was saying how he was, you know, he's going to cover people's mouths with gloves, right? Well, right here, somebody asked him, Moondance said, "Are you saying you're a killer? Oh my God." And he said, "Serial killer." I mean, you know what's weird is who says that? You know, what normal person would respond with serial killer? I mean, does people want to be known as that? No. And then look at this one right here. So it says, and now he's talking about Derek Godsey or Norman DeWinter, and her account was My Prodigal Esoteric Channel. He did it to Harvey Carroll too. He's a Vernon. He lives in Vernon, Alabama. Blah 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 blah. Okay. So anyways, down here it says, if I call his daddy, it will be to tell him his son will be found floating in a river. Well, that sounds like a murder threat, doesn't it? And then right here, it's she said, Godsey is 40-ish, blah, blah, blah. You know, goes through that part. And then right down here he says, I've been telling people for a very long time that they are playing with the wrong guy. They all think it's a joke. And they can't be found. Soon enough, things are going to change, and for the worse for some of these people. I've skinned many cats. I think this is probably a euphemistic phrase. I've skinned many cats in the past who decided to shit on my lawn. If one of their loved ones suddenly goes missing, it's pointless crying over spilt milk. Blame them for their behavior, basically. See, so this guy is a nut job. So he has been reported to various agencies, and that's not a joke or a threat or anything. He is out there, and they are interested. They're not bored. They're not like, oh, yeah. They are interested. This guy is a nut job, all right? And that's the truth of it. He thinks he's this really clever, smartly thinking, Aussie, let me tell you, what I can't even imitate it right now because it just makes me angry. Yeah, it's just, he's an absolute embarrassment. Okay? All right. Who answers serial killer? God. Yeah, I don't know what he is. You know, he could just be blowing smoke up people's asses. Because if he's not, he's in trouble. Okay. I don't know what the hell you're talking about. C7777. I have no idea. So go, type a full sentence in sometimes. If nobody's ever heard from you before in your life. Yeah. First comment out of the gate. What about the ex-cop security guard in Buffalo? I don't know what you're talking about. He's a nut job. And sadly, there's people over there supporting him even as he makes those comments. See, it shows you how sick they are too. Yep, that's right. All right, so that was the original update that I had there. I wanted to put that out there. And also, so let me play a couple of these videos here, and it's pretty crazy. There's a EMT out there named Todd Burnim, who well, let's just play it. It's in Kensington.
54-year-old Todd Burnim from Kensington is now charged with 12 counts of sexual assault and 15 counts of possessing sexual abuse images of minors. According to Kensington police, Burnim, a former EMT, allegedly drugged his victims who were all under the age of 13 and then sexually assaulted them. Police say he did this to three victims over a period of time between 2012 and 2019. In January, Kensington police served an arrest and search warrant for Burnim at his home on South Road. He was taken into custody, and during the search, police found more than 800 images of child sexual abuse on his computer as well. This month, a Rockingham grand jury formally indicted him on 27 charges, including sexual assault and possession of sexual abuse images of minors. Burnim is behind bars being held on preventative detention at the Rockingham County House of Corrections. He's due back in court later this week for an arraignment. Kensington police are asking anyone with further information to give them a call.
And we spoke with some of his neighbors, Burnham's neighbors, that is, on rural South Road here in Kensington. They tell us they did not know him personally, but they're disgusted by the charges he faces. We're live in Kensington tonight. Scott Cook, WMUR News.
And now we got that one, and then this one.
54-year-old Todd Burnim of Kensington will be arraigned on 27 felony charges this Thursday. It's alleged that between 2012 and 2019, Burnim drugged and sexually assaulted 3 different victims under the age of 13. The Kensington police chief says they found more than 800 child sexual abuse images in a search of Burnham's residence. Burnim was arrested in January after a 2-hour standoff at his home. The chief says Burnim is a former EMT for Kensington and East Kingston fire departments, his most recent employers issuing statements. He's no longer employed by Portsmouth Hospital, which includes the Seabrook Emergency Room, but they cannot comment on the reason for his termination because it's a personnel matter. And from Action Ambulance Service, where Burnim also worked, saying they have been aware of the situation since he was arrested in January and have been cooperating with law enforcement.
Just a sad situation.
Look at that, you guys. That is, Derek from in the chat right there, because he worked with him. And so he's going to call in here in a minute, but, it's kind of a crazy situation for him.
For everybody involved, and I pray to God it's not true.
Derek Reckendorf was Burnham's EMT partner for 5 years until 2018, describing him as a great medic and trusted family friend.
We've had many great times together, spent time, holidays, swimming, camping, everything. It's shocking.
I know the charges are horrendous and sickening. That's not the guy I know.
Yeah.
The Kensington chief believes there are more victims and urges
call
anyone
in
with information to come forward and talk to the department. Now, Burnim is held on preventative detention at the county jail. He's expected for arraignment on Thursday.
Hey, by the way, you guys, I don't know if you remember, but we actually, on this channel, we raise funds every single night to, to donate to charity and to help support my channel. And this night's no different than any other, even though there's shitty news out there, okay?
Reporting live in Kensington, Jennifer Crompton, WMUR News 9.
All right, let's see. So, Derek, if you want to call in, I think the number is good there on the screen there. There we go. A little separation there. So there's the number. You're probably going to be the 929-205-6099, and then all the other information. Yep. Well, no, is that the right? Yeah, that's the right one. Got the right code up there. Where are you at, Derek? I'm just waiting. He was going to call in because he knew the guy for a long time. Thanks, the Velvet Army. Man, never had the slowest start I've ever seen. All right, let's do the. Okay, you're unmuted, Derek.
Hey, what's going on, Greg?
Not much. Pretty crazy situation for you.
Yeah, it is. It's absolutely crazy. I found out just last night, which is even crazier.
Yeah, because you got arrested way back in January, right?
Correct.
Yeah. So you got arrested in January, but he kind of kept it a little bit quiet. It sounds like it wasn't really in the media that much.
Yeah, he's been in jail ever since January, and so I saw him on Christmas, and he had had a new girlfriend for approximately a little over a year at that point, and so I texted him a few times and whatnot, and he didn't answer me, and I was so busy doing the couple of shows I was on, I figured he was busy, and it just kind of it was a little weird to me that we hadn't talked, but then I saw it last night. It just happened to come up on the YouTube because Sarah's subscribed to WMUR, and I literally I almost fainted. I couldn't believe it.
Wow. I mean, so all the time that you were with the guy, you never noticed anything? Now that you think back?
Ray, I'm telling you, nothing. And it'd be like the complete opposite of it. And no one knew him like I did. I mean, we worked together for 60 hours a week. Okay? Literally for 5 years straight. 60 hours. I mean, that's more time than you spend, with your spouse, your kids.
Yeah. I mean, you seem like you would pick up on something over that time, right? If there was something that you could have been just hiding it, though. That's what they do.
Because his kids played with our kids. I mean, we always got together. I mean, it wasn't like we just worked. I mean, we were, like brothers. So.
I mean, it's kind of a tough kind of conversation. But have you ever asked your kids anything about now that you know what he's like? I mean,
yeah, I did.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I absolutely did. Because my daughter had slept over there several times, and she was just beside herself, shocked. And I'm.
Yeah.
No one believes it. That from my side of the family. I mean, it's kind of hard to. I mean, that's crazy amount of evidence that they supposedly have. I don't know. It's. I'm praying that it's wrong somehow. Because I just it makes me sick even thinking about it. I feel like it's a dream.
Yeah. But you'd be somebody that the authorities would want to talk to, just spending that much time with somebody.
That was during the time that we were together all the time. And they're saying that because I don't know the details of it. I'm going to the arraignment on Thursday. So hopefully I'll find more of them. He's drugging people. There's no way.
Well,
he would have been able to get drugged.
Well, but he has access to it a little bit, right? In your vehicle and stuff like that.
Me and him only, but I would have known.
What if he just took a little bit somewhere? I mean, do you both count every single time how much?
Yeah, no. Anytime we'd waste any, say, morphine or fentanyl or anything, we'd both watch each other do it. And that's the part that's so crazy to me because
Well, what about back at the station now? Let's say you get back to the station, you bring the car in, nobody's looking,
No, so what it is we'd have the ALS ambulance, and that ambulance was the only ambulance that would have advanced life support drugs on it. And me and him would both have to sign everything each shift. And then the next crew, ALS crew that would come on 24 hours later, would have to sign everything. And there would.
I got your face.
I'm trying to think of a way he could have done it. I'm trying to think of a way just how it would be possible. And I mean, he was a phenomenal medic. If I had to pick anybody besides myself to treat my family in any life-threatening situation,
Are you saying you're a phenomenal
besides me would be
medic?
him.
Are you saying you're a phenomenal medic? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah,
I'm
I
sure you
am.
are.
But
I'm sure you are.
no, but I mean, he was.
Yeah.
There's just no way morally he would have ever stole. I just can't. There's no way. So I don't know. I can't imagine they're talking about any drugs from the ambulance. They must be talking about something else he might have had at home if this really did happen.
But I mean, don't you guys like when you bring a patient to the hospital? I mean, are you sure that
Yep.
like every second of every time there's no way somebody could just grab something, or maybe just him being what he is, he knows how to take other, just over-the-counter drugs and turn it into something.
Yeah, that's possible, for sure. But for him to take stuff out of our box, there's no way without me knowing. So say we had a 911 call, and he gave 2 milligrams of morphine.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and say he really didn't give it. Okay, you still have to account for the vial. He'd have to pull it out, hide it. Okay, and say there's a milligram left, an ml left, we waste it, we spray it out, and we both watch, sign off on it.
Wow.
So it was very strict the way we did things, and because of this, because anybody, especially
how about this? What was he?
crisis.
Yeah, but what was he doing after you though? Was he working at a hospital or still an ambulance guy for?
No, when me and him were doing our shifts, he worked. He volunteered for the fire department in his town, and that was it. When I left in 2018, he left and went to another company, and I was just done being on the ambulance full time. It kills your body, and so he got other jobs at hospitals. So I was not working with him when he was working at the actual hospitals. Working at the hospital, he would have easier access to get stuff.
People are saying like you sound like
still,
well, I just want to let you know, people think that you're sounding really upset, like you're almost crying, but I don't think you are at all. This is how you actually sound when you talk. I've talked to you many times.
I'm not.
Many times you're talking the way you normally talk. Although obviously you're bummed out that this is your friend, but I don't think you sound any different than you normally talk. Just so everybody knows. Right?
No, I don't think so. But I almost did lose it today when I was doing the interview with WMUR.
Yeah.
Because it's just it is crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, it'd just be like your brother, but even worse because I doubt you spent 60 hours a week
with a brother. Yeah.
For
yeah. You probably spend more time with him than like a lot of people. I mean, like 10 hours a week would be, so if you went 10, so you could like 30 years worth of time with somebody if you spent 10 hours a week with somebody else, because it was 5 years, 60 hours, right?
But that's how long I was partners with him because we were just partners just with each other for those years. But I've known him for 12 years, so I also worked with him during that time, but we weren't partners exclusively. Those 5 years we were partners exclusively. We worked Tuesday, Thursday, 24-hour shift.
Yeah.
And it was just like the best shift you get, and we kept it for a long time, and then we ended up leaving, just couldn't do it anymore. But
well, maybe he's done there's a lot of stuff differently. It'd be interesting to know when this started. I mean, obviously,
it said from 2012 to 2019.
That's what they said. Wow.
He was doing.
Oh,
yeah.
You're kidding me. So it was right during your entire time, almost. Wow, that's incredible.
That's
wow. Like you were.
I don't even.
Jesus. Wow.
Like I don't even know who it just. I don't want to say too much, but the way they're making it sound, I think I know who they're talking about, because there'd be nobody else you'd have access to for that, many years. So.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah, between 2012 2019. Wow. Drugged and sexually assaulted 3 victims under the age of 13. And that would have been, like all during, like, you were what, 2013 to 18 with him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically, it was 2012 to 2018, somewhere. You know, it was roughly 5 to 6 years that we were doing that 60 hours a week.
And then it's almost like when he left, and that was sort of like I wonder how they got onto him. Somebody must have came forward.
That's what I'm saying. It's, you know, man, I just can't see. Man, I don't know. I know he had some issues with a couple of the cops locally, for some reasons, and I remember him talking to me about it. But
oh, jeez.
I just,
man,
it's, yeah, I don't even know. It's crazy. But now thinking about it, I was like, I didn't hear from him since, you know, December. Like, but I was so busy.
Yeah, but that was right when he was arrested, just right after that, right? So.
Right.
How often would you communicate before that? Like every couple months or what?
Oh, I'd say every couple weeks at least, and there'd be like spurts. He'd call every day. He would talk forever. Like literally, he'd keep me on the phone forever. And then,
like during the time, like when you were gone for all those months of filming,
right,
you talked to him.
From 2000, right, from 2018 till now. Yeah, we still communicate all the time. I mean, we spent not last Thanksgiving, but the two before, all of our families got together. I didn't this one because I was gone. So, you know, like that's how close we were. We did holidays together, the kids' birthdays, everything. And you know, like I told WMUR, he is the only guy that I would trust with my family, wife and kids, besides my father, like unequivocally. He's the only one. And
so isn't that wild? Isn't that crazy? It's like that means that your whole
that is
belief. Because the thing is, it's very likely this is true. I'm just letting you. You know, you probably know that.
Right? No, I know.
You know, but there's possibility, I guess. You know, everybody has to go to court and that kind of thing. But it sounds like, I mean, man,
that's the other weird thing. You know, Gray, have you ever heard of it? Because talking to the people I know and everything, they've never heard of anything like this. He was arrested in January. He hasn't been arraigned for 5 months. What the hell is that? Think of that. So he's been in there. He hasn't even seen a judge for 5 months.
No, there's got to have been other. I don't know. I mean, it's kind of weird. Maybe they got a. I don't know. They got a warrant or something. I mean, he had to have been in front of a judge of some sort in 5 months. There's no way he couldn't have been.
That's what I don't get.
Yeah, I don't.
I'm being told.
Yeah, I don't believe that.
So they had the standoff with him because he wouldn't. I don't know what exactly happened, but he wouldn't leave his house when they came.
Oh, so he knew.
They came and arrested him.
Yeah.
And then when they arrested him is when they found all of the images or whatnot on his computer.
Yeah. So unless somebody planted that, which this doesn't really happen like that often, like when people try to. Then it's likely he did it, and then the fact that he did a standoff, like he didn't want him to come in or whatever. I mean, that sort of shows something right there, right? Like, what would he be nervous about if he didn't have that?
That's I've been trying to wrap my brain around that.
But also,
what the hell?
Yeah, but it's. I mean, he had to have seen a judge in 5 months. There's got to be a time where something like that happened. There's no way. You can't just sort of let somebody languish. I mean, any attorney could get him out of there if that was the case. That's what
I'm thinking. But so everybody I've spoke to and everything, he hasn't. They said he's. I've never even heard of it before. It's preventative detention. He's in, so he's not allowed any bond.
Oh, okay.
Or anything because he's a. It was such a risk.
Yeah.
To hurt the community and whatnot.
Wow.
So that's the wording they used on WMR. He's on preventative detention. So
that
no
puts
bond,
him in a scary.
nothing.
I mean, he's like that means that they think he's like It's a little bit more serious than it might sound, you know.
Yeah, that you know, unless like all of a sudden he lost it after December, but he still would have been doing it from the whole time I was with him.
Yeah, it was 2012. Yeah,
So
it was,
it just
God.
like he would be the last person I would pick. So it's
But see, but isn't that like you sort of sometimes you hear that sometimes about those types of people? You know, people are just shocked. No way, he was a great guy. He'd come over and help me do, you know, the gardening and, you know, all the whatever, you know, just and then boom. It turns out they were doing something else. I mean, serial killers have that kind of, like, you know, Dennis Radar type, you know. I mean, he sounds like he's I mean, he's not a serial killer, but, you know, maybe he's a serial sex offender, I guess. I mean, it sounds absolutely crazy, right, for you to hear that, but I mean, you know, it's weird.
And the other thing is, like, during that time, like, not just working, but we'd always be hanging out, and if we weren't, he was always working at the fire station. He would get his girls every other week, and then, like, it's just I don't know where he had the time to do all this, and without anybody ever noticing. And you know, that's like, so what happened during all those years? Why didn't anything ever happen? And then it just happened now. There's a lot of things that don't make sense to me. And
yeah, I wonder how they found out now.
When we were waiting, like, for example, when we were waiting to close on our house, there was like a lapse of a 2-week period. We had to wait, and so either I was going to have to go and spend like $400 a night at a hotel, and I asked him. I mean, I have a huge fan, 7 people, and he's like, absolutely, you don't have to ask. We stayed with him. You know, like, that's how close we were.
Yeah.
Just people. It's.
I mean, what does that make
I want
him,
to talk to him.
Are these like 13 and like what age group are these? 13-year-olds?
Who? His kids?
Victims. Well, the victims that he.
13 and under.
Oh, they're all young. They could be even younger. Like,
right.
Like, I thought it was just.
But like that's what I'm saying. Like, who? Like, he was never around any kids. You know, that's the whole thing that doesn't make any sense to me. He was never around little kids at his house besides his own. You know, that's why I don't know if they're insinuating something. Because
this might turn into a really spooky story at some point. Because, man, what was he doing? You know, going to a mall or something on his day off? Yeah, where would he have access? Where would he have access to little kids like that? That he, I mean, what? Maybe it's like a. Well, I mean, not to freak you out, but like a family. You know, friends of his too, and he was in a situation where he could drug them, hoping they wouldn't remember anything. And then it turns out later. I mean, I don't know. It's weird. Like, how are they putting all this together? Like, they have these other kids, 3 kids, and then he's got a whole bunch of porn. So they found porn when he went to his house, but they already had something on him to go to his house. Right? So they go to his house, and then they find all those images and everything. But, I mean, how did somebody finally come forward to know that something happened to him?
That's the whole thing. They already had the arrest warrant before any of the images, so they were arresting him before that. They knew nothing about that. They only got that after the search. You know, so what happened? You know, I don't know if he finally, like, pissed somebody off. You know, the only thing I could say is he was picky. Like, he had been divorced for a while, and I was shocked that he got a girlfriend, because he would just kind of date, you know, see people, you know, kind of just see him, hook up. Never really had a girlfriend until just recently in the last year and a half. So I was really happy, and he was, you know, he was happy, like, really happy. She was a nurse.
So he doesn't have any kids or anything? He doesn't have any kids, right?
Yes, yeah, he does.
Oh, he does. So he got divorced, and then okay.
Right, yeah, he has 3 daughters. That's what I was saying. All of our kids would get with their kids. I mean, their daughters would have birthday parties over at our house.
Yeah, I heard that earlier, but then you're saying, so when did he get divorced?
He got divorced when the kids were very little, before I knew him. So they were
That'd be interesting to ask her why they got divorced.
Yeah, I know she wasn't from here. He met her in Finland.
Oh, I see. Let's see. Yeah, that's just it's weird. So okay, but I mean, it's weird too, because when he had your whole family over there, he was by himself, right? So he said you don't even have to ask, right? And you just
Sorry,
come over.
Repeat that one more time, Greg.
Well, when you were buying your house, you had a bunch of kids, right?
Yep.
Like, how old were your kids at the time?
From the ages, say 5 to 13, 4 to 13.
Yeah. So somebody with his,
But when I wasn't there, my wife was with the kids.
Yeah, I'm not saying he did anything. What I'm saying is, he was probably okay. Like he wanted the kids to come over because that's who. I mean, it sounds. I'm just telling you how it is. I can't really talk to you differently just because I know you. Okay.
No.
He probably wanted them to come over because, he was really excited about it because he's attracted to younger kids, and maybe.
I hope not, man.
Yeah, I know.
That just makes me so sick.
No, it does. It freaking sucks. But now that you think back, like, what year was that right there? That he went to the house.
That was 2019.
Yeah, so right during that range. I mean, he was, in 2019.
But it wasn't like he was. It was just like, you don't even have to ask. You're welcome here, because it was a last minute thing. The closing got pushed out, and you know what I mean? It was like...
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying.
Where am I going to bring...
But how easy is it for him then to go, oh, yeah. Because most people, to be honest with you, would they really want 7 people storming into their home?
No,
especially little kids and everything? Except if you happen to be attracted to those same kids. I mean, I'm not trying to... I know it sounds crappy, but, I hope... he obviously didn't do anything to them because you guys were around. But it's kind of creepy thinking about it like that. If it turns out that he, like you're saying, it's possible this is all some weird thing, but it doesn't sound like it. I mean, don't you? I know that you've been a friend of his and everything, and so it must be just this crazy situation that you're in, because he's like a brother and somebody that you've trusted for at least 9 years. Completely, and now it turns out that all of that, the beliefs that you had in him, could just be totally, like shattered. It's just like a gut punch or something, right?
Yeah, I mean, because it wasn't just like a friendship. We dealt with so many, death, life, dire situations that we, had to be on the same page. I mean, it was just. I just, like, he never once slipped up and said something about, some little girl walking down the street. Like, I'm like trying to think back, and there's nothing. I know he would constantly be checking out girls, but it wasn't, little girls. He was one of the kind of guy who constantly be flirting with the nurses and stuff.
But did he ever go out with the nurses or anything? I mean, the thing is.
Oh yeah, he would. That's why he would date, but he wouldn't be. He was never in a relationship, just until recently. He would always, just. He was so picky, I used to give him crap all the time. He was in his 40s, late 40s then, and he expected way too much, and just. That's why I was so happy for the guy when he finally. I mean, I had never seen him so happy as he was when he was with this nurse that he was like head over heels for. So I don't know what happened with that. I don't know if there's something to do with that. I don't know. I'm hoping to find out more on Thursday.
Well, this is actually that shot of you guys is one shot. I was thinking they put two together, but he's driving and you're in the back, and he's taking a selfie type picture. Okay.
Right.
Huh. Well, here's the thing. It doesn't mean he didn't really care for you and like you as a friend or something. As it turns out, it could just be that he he's what we've talked about on the show a million different times. He could be maybe he's a pedophile, and he actually acted out on it, which makes him, a crappy, see, it's hard to have a conversation with you because I know how much you care about him and stuff because you've been buddies.
Fine. It's I need to hear it because I just I know that the chances of it being real and true are probably 90-something%, but it's like I'm just holding out that hope.
Yeah.
I mean, he was a great father too. I mean, his girls were constantly,
Yeah. Well, let's just pause the show for a minute because we have an idiot in the chat that said, Seashore Girl said, you seem rude to your guest. Do you feel like I've been rude to you on this?
Not at all.
Yeah, I'm just talking to you like a regular person. All right, but we always get the trolls that show up. They don't have a clue what they're talking about. Just morons. So.
No,
right.
You've never been rude to me once.
I know. I mean, I didn't feel like it at all. I'm just trying to have a conversation. I'm actually holding back what I would normally be saying about somebody, mainly because, a little bit, because you were friends with him for so long. You probably still consider him a friend because it's like, to you, it's just like you got, I mean, let's say you have a wife that you've loved dearly, and then it turns out you hear that they cheated on you. Well, you still love them right then, but it's like, how do you get past that, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so it's, it's worse than that, obviously.
And just like, there was never, I mean, my wife would watch his girls, because when we'd work, the 24s, if he didn't have a sitter when he had them, when they were younger, they'd all stay at my house. And just nothing was ever said. There was nothing ever weird, like, like if there was just one thing that could ever stick out, I'd be like, oh, well, that was weird that time. I can't come up with nothing. Like, the guy had, like, his morals and values were extremely high. Like, he wouldn't lie. Like, there were so many times like, oh man, just let that go because we're just gonna get in trouble for this. There's situations that no one's gonna know, but if you bring it up, then it's gonna look bad, stuff like that. And he like, oh, because I gotta tell the truth. It just, the fact that he would be hiding that the whole time. Like, I need to talk to the guy, because when I talk to him, I'll know. Like, I will absolutely know. So there's not a doubt. I will know when I talk to him.
But he might even come in and say something like, well, I didn't do it, man. I mean, it'd be weird too, because then you'll just know.
No, I'll
by
know.
the way, so,
Ray, I'll know.
Okay, yeah.
I'll know. I'll know 100%. There's no doubt. So that's kind of, when I called the jail, he was in lockdown last night, and you have to sign up to get to speak to him, but he's not allowed to have any phone, like they do the Zoom. You don't see face to face or through the glass. You can go to the jail and see, like, through a Zoom thing, or you can do it from your house. I don't know why you'd even bother going to the jail to do it. But he was in lockdown, and you can press like to get information, and it's like, click 5 for bail, and it was like, this person has no bail. It was like, what?
Yeah, there's something. There must be something really horrible that he, that they have him on for all of this. No bail, and he's locked up for like the safety of the community. I mean, man, that's.
It's like the only, like, I was talking to a couple like state trooper buddies that I know. They're like, the only thing they've ever seen anything near this is a terrorist. When they get put down, like locked down, you get weighted out, and it's because you're a terrorist and you're a threat, and that's the only way they get away with there's no bail. I mean, because when I talked to the person today at the jail, he has not had bail in 5 months. So I just don't. And there's no documents that he's been to court, because this is the first time it's been let out. So it's like his arraignment is Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
The arraignment you have right after. So doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, we got somebody in the chat that just they think they're a psychologist. They're like, well, if he's got 3 kids, they must be victims too. Well, a lot of these people don't do anything with biological children, and so you don't have a clue. And but crazily though, I mean, technically, I guess possibly right now, those could be the 3 victims, right? I mean, but I don't think so.
Yeah, I mean,
that would give them access, and that would make more sense almost to you, right? Because it's like,
right.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that made sense to me, because of how would you have access to these people for so long, these 3 victims.
Wow. And
So to me, that's what they were insinuating by saying it, but I just call complete bullshit on that. I mean, I saw them together, 2,000 times.
Yeah, and they were
Like
just
the
happy
girls
kids.
adored him.
Yeah, okay.
Oh my God, they adored him. It was no,
Yeah, it's different. Yeah,
oh my God, it was,
Mm-hmm.
I never, he was.
And also, there wouldn't be a danger
easy on him.
I don't think they would think there was a danger to the community as much either. It wouldn't be like, oh my God, he's this predator out there, right? That he's attacking all. But it sounds like he has like 3 different people that are in the community that aren't related to him. That's why he would be more dangerous to be put out there. Like there's no bail, right? Because if it was his home, if it was his own kids only, I think they would keep them separate. I don't know how that would work. I'm just saying it seems like it's different than his kids, but that would make more sense.
Well, I know they're older now. Like I think that his oldest is 18, because she was 1 year older than my oldest, and then the 2 others are 15.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, they got a lot of charges. Like there was.
I mean, how could is that not crazy to you? I mean, that's like the Kagan Klein, right? The amount of charges, 27 felonies. I mean, if he gets a few of those, he's going away for forever.
Yeah, I mean, some of them are probably like when they just sort of stack a whole bunch on top of, like he's got, 27 photos that show this, so those are all felonies. I don't know. Obviously he's got 800.
Yeah.
They found like 800 images or something, but man, so just the whole time he didn't ever notice anything. That's amazing.
I literally I couldn't sleep all night thinking about it. I tried to just. I mean, I think I would have seen something on his phone, and just something, just. There would have been, I can't see him not slipping up. If we just worked together, we never were at each other's house all the time, I could say, okay, he, outside of work, he was somebody else. But that's not the case. Like, literally they would, come and spend the night at my house all the time, and they would camp, like, on my property, and they'd come in. The kids would get cold or it'd be too hot, or the bugs, and they'd all come in, and it was like it happened quite frequently. And then the holidays, there's just nothing. And like, Sarah doesn't have one thing either.
Yeah. Well, you might have to.
The girls.
Yeah, I was just say you might have to talk to your, have a really deeper conversation with some of your kids just to make sure that you feel like nothing was ever happening when, you'd stay over there and stuff. They might have said, "Oh no, yeah," but maybe they didn't really think back or something. I mean, you might do that, but
right. The only one that ever stayed over was my daughter.
Yeah.
And the 4 boys never did, but it was more of them staying over, and just she was like completely just like all of them are shocked. This is, they call him Uncle Tino.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they call him. They consider him like their uncle.
Yeah. So they weren't like scared of him or anything when they went there.
Oh my God, no.
God, so doesn't that just that makes it even weirder, because if he's doing all this stuff, let's say it's all true, then that means like a lot of the behavior that he might have just been compartmentalizing his sickness. His not sickness, his psychopathic, whatever the hell you want to call it. But he could have just been compartmentalizing it. So around you guys, he was like, yeah, and that helps sell another story. I mean, he's this great guy. He's so ethical.
Right.
Hates these other ones, but he's not really that interested in these women, probably. And so he's just doing it as sort of a cover for what is really going on in the background. Because if it's true, that means the entire time that you guys were working together, he's doing this absolutely insane, crazy stuff on the side, you know? Isn't that wild?
Yeah.
I mean, it must be really weird to you, you know? It's just...
Yeah, I mean, we'd sleep in the same room, like at the station.
Mm-hmm.
And there was so many times, like, you know, we'd get a 911 call and, you know, we'd swap, you know, call by call who would drive and whatnot. And there'd be times like he'd run out to get, and he'd be like, shit, grab my cell phone. You know, it'd be on the bed, charging. I grab it. There'd just be, he had that kind of shit and just,
yeah.
Like, there was never any shadiness, is I guess what I'm trying to say. There was never any him being, you know, sketchy or like complete, like, I don't know how else to say it, Gray. It was, if he did it, then he fucking fooled me, man. I'm telling you,
that makes him
it would
worse,
just blow me away.
scarier almost.
Yeah.
Like it's that means he was just hiding in plain sight, easily able to trick
Right.
people, you know?
Yeah, if he, like, I feel like I just want to, oh my God, just kill the guy, you know, because if he really was like that the whole time with me, and he, you know, I know even though if he kind of, like you said, you know, put that to the side when he was with me and my family, because I know he knows I would have killed him, it still doesn't matter, you know, I just remember saying to him, because it was the first time my daughter had ever slept over anybody's house, because I'd always be, you know, hey, you know, I don't want her staying over anywhere because you just never know, right? And I remember saying to him that, you know, hey, you know, this is the first time she's ever slept over anybody's house because you're the only guy I'd ever let her sleep over with because I trust you. He's like, oh, I know, the same thing to you. And I, like, remember that. You know, that was...
Would you be shocked if it turns out to be his own kids, but they still acted the way they did around him?
Yeah, I'd be beyond shocked because that was the way they acted.
Yeah, because normally they'd be a little bit like closed in and like.
No, I mean, if anything, he was too easy on them. Like there'd be times like they would talk back and he'd be like, "What do I do?" And I'm like, "Bro, you can't just let it happen, you know." And he just, you know, because he got him once a week, and he would try to, you know, spoil him as much as he could, and you know, he'd constantly be doing stuff with them. Always, I mean, and they like I said, they adored him. They were constantly hanging on him, you know, just, come on, Dad, let's go, get up, like just constantly hanging on. Like I was looking through pictures. There's pictures of all of them sleeping on. I had a huge like sectional couch, and all of them are sleeping on the couch together, like in my living room, and like just all piled up. They were younger, probably 10 and 13 or something, but just you know, it's just the complete opposite. Now that's why I had to, you know, speak to WMUR, because I feel it's only right to, you know, at least speak out on behalf of him.
Yeah, like, because you know him.
Because that's...
Yeah, you can, all you can do is tell him
guy.
what you know. You can say, that's not the person I know, but if it does turn out that it is him, that just multiplies for you probably how sick he is. I mean, what a monster, because that means he tricked you, or like hid something from you that was so vile that you know, and he did it so well that you couldn't even see it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know, and he's been able to hold this in for, you know, 54 years. Never got in trouble with anything. You know, we can't have our licenses, you know, with the National Registry if we have anything. Mm. So the fact that he was able to keep it in check for that long without ever flipping up, it's really scary. If it's true, it's, you know, geez, the way I look at everybody is going to change. Just, it's mind, you know, it's a mind warp, because you know what I mean? It's just crazy.
Yeah, that's, brutal. So I guess we'll have to keep up to date on this. Maybe after you talk to him, come back on again or something.
Yeah, no, yeah, I'll text you Thursday when after the arraignment. I'll let you know what happened.
Yeah, somebody.
They're gonna interview me. They're gonna interview me live on Thursday at the courthouse. So.
Oh really? A channel is okay.
Yeah, the WMER is.
Yeah.
So
you're gonna be there Thursday, and are you gonna try to get to talk to him, or just? I mean, what?
Yeah, I want to try to say something to him. I just want to see his face. Like I need something. Yeah.
Oh God, how weird is that? Because you've always been just good buddies with him, and you're gonna be there like, hey, dude, what's going? Oh man, I don't even know. It's almost like you should just talk to him on the phone or something. That's. I don't know.
That's what I tried, but you can't even. He's in a lockdown. You can't even communicate with him. So I'm gonna try to. I mean, because that courthouse is about 2 hours and 20 minutes from us. So I'm gonna try to go to the jail after, try to figure out, how the hell I can talk to him, whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I'll definitely keep you updated and let you know whatever happens. Something's gonna. I mean, and then they came out again. They kept changing it tonight. I mean, they interviewed me for 30 minutes. They showed more the first one. And then they kept changing it. After they showed me the first time, they came on and they said that they believe there's more victims than just 3.
Yeah.
So I got a feeling it's going to get worse.
Well, KJO76 said, as a victim of familial child sexual abuse, I hear many red flags in this conversation. I don't know. They're not talking about you, but maybe just how you perceived him. I'm not sure what you mean by that. I don't know. What would you? What are you seeing as red flags? I'm trying to figure out. I think they're talking about like things that you've said about him, and then comments. I don't know. I hate the rewind mode because it's always like 30 seconds, and then it takes them a long time to comment.
I've never seen any red flags of him. And I was, I've done training in, sexual abuse, kids, all that crap. And I never saw any flags, nothing.
Well, they're saying you get treated better if you're abused. His children adored his father.
No, it wasn't like he was spoiling them to the point where it was like, hey, that's kind of weird. It was just,
she wrote down, his children adored his father, his children hung on him. About this guy, So, I mean, doesn't that happen? Don't kids sometimes adore their father, though? I mean,
oh my God, my kids were hanging on me all the way up until, I couldn't handle all of them anymore. Anytime I got home from work, they'd run and, tackle me. So, I don't know about that, but...
Yeah, I think a lot of people just, because they noticed something about how they were in a situation that it applies to every single person. We don't really know.
Right.
So, anyways, you should, after you see him in court on Thursday, why don't you check it on Thursday night? Something like that.
Yeah, definitely will.
And I'm sorry you're having to go through this. I mean, it sounds like an absolute nightmare. One of your best friends, probably was your best friend for a long time. I don't know in the last 3 years, but, maybe still one of them.
No matter what, he was like, no, definitely like, if I had to like count on anybody, like, what I thought before, if anything ever happened to me, like I always said, I know Todd would like step up and help and
right. So you feel like you got to sort of step up for him and give him a chance to be innocent, right? Like,
right. I wouldn't be like, I'd be just completely a fake ass friend if I didn't tell the truth about him.
Mm-hmm.
I know it's not the popular choice right now, and I'm sure I'm going to get some shit for it, but I can't lie. I have to, give the guy a chance and have his back, because what I'm telling is the truth. He was exactly what I'm saying. So,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Man, what a nightmare. But you know, it's kind of an interesting story, just given the dynamics that we're talking about here, right? I mean, it's crazy. It's like you know, similar to some of these serial killers that just live, you know, live amongst you, and they seem just absolutely normal. I mean, like Ted Bundy was a little bit like that to people. They thought he was just a little charming guy, and turns out he was anything but. Although, you know, this guy doesn't sound like he's a serial killer, but at the same time, you wonder if they have suspicions. Wouldn't that be crazy as hell? Because they're treating him like he's a killer, aren't they?
No,
yeah.
No shit. Like the only thing I can think of is like something happened with him and his girlfriend, and something got crazy, and then I don't know, something spiraled out of control. That's the only scenario. Like, he was completely calm.
Yeah, except that it's been going on for 12. It's been going on from 12 to 19 though. So
that's the only part, right? Like that doesn't make sense.
Yeah. So
none of it makes sense.
So what you could think is, what if they have other cases that are very similar, and they have kind of connected to him. They just don't know where like these girls that went missing. Wouldn't that be crazy? I mean, I'm just throwing it out. I'm just throwing it out there because they're treating him like he's a freaking like a, you know, a serial killer, like he's
Hannibal Lecter.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, exactly. Like he can't even get out of there. So it's kind of I'd like to hear what they really. You gotta get to that court hearing and know exactly what they're talking about. That's crazy.
Yeah, I'm gonna be there an hour early, and
yeah.
Don't you think it's a little weird that none of the investigators, because they said that the attorney general's involved with it now. No one reached out to me during this investigation.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's a little strange.
I'm not sure why somebody's calling in. I didn't ask somebody to call in. Is anybody calling in here? I mean, want me to take this call while you're on here? See what they say?
Sure.
All right, let's see. And by the way, you guys, if you'd like to help out the channel, we're really far behind tonight. We're at like 15% of a normal night, okay? So if you can help out, that'd be great, because we've got 7 more days to the end of the month, and we're trying to make that last push. So that'd be awesome. Thanks. All right, let me try to. So 603, what's going on? Hello? Or is it 81? That's you. Are you 613, Derek?
I'm 603, yeah.
Okay, hold on. 812. Hello? Yeah, but we didn't ask you to call in, IV Push. Okay, so I don't know why you're calling, but we'll take it, because you have to hit *6. Nobody asked you to call in. I was interviewing him. Hello. Thanks, Cindy Lynn.
Are they on?
I don't know what they're doing. They're just, you have to hit *6. I'm gonna just remove it. All right. I just got rid of them. I'm not gonna sit around waiting. If you call in, you got to know what you're doing. You know, when you hit, I send a message. It says to unmute yourself with *6. Okay. Let's see. 2 lives when they are doing horrific things. Yeah, I never even opened up the phone lines. It's odd, you know. I just wanted you to call.
People are so weird.
I mean, it's strange, you know. It's like, you know, like.
God, you always get these people, man. I'm telling you.
I'm not sure what's going on. Not sure, but. All right, well, have you come back on Thursday, all right?
Yeah, sounds good.
And man, I hope it goes as well as it can go for you there. I mean, that's just, I don't even know what that would mean, you know? Like, what is...
No, I appreciate it.
Yeah. All right, well, feel free to, you know, text me or whatever in between. That's crazy. Thanks for coming on, too, and telling the story.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, thanks, bro. I appreciate you letting me come on.
Oh, well, thanks. All right, bye-bye.
All right, I'll talk to you Thursday. Bye.
Night. Wild, 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 wild. Yeah. Thanks, Billy Juliana. Yeah, this is going to be a struggle tonight. I can tell. Thanks, Cammy Nielsen. Yeah, I'm not sure if you're out there, Ivy Push, but you didn't unmute yourself for like a minute, so we had to get rid of you. Now, if you want to try calling in now, that would be great. But I can move on to something else too. I just didn't understand what that was about. Hey, thank you guys, Vale and K-Dog. And man, wouldn't that just be brutal to have one of your best friends, if not your best friend, in a situation like that? Kind of makes you wonder about your own choices and like, wow, I didn't even know that. Yeah, but that's so common though. That's the weird part. I mean, how many times have you heard where people go, man, I didn't even know any of that. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you guys. Appreciate it. We're currently at 25% now. Good stuff. Yeah, I mean, it's creepy. Creepy stuff. So we'll play this part again.
Emergency room, but they cannot comment on the reason for his termination because it's a personnel matter. And from Action Ambulance Service, where Burnim also worked, saying they have been aware of the situation since he was arrested in January and have been cooperating with law enforcement.
Just a sad situation for everybody involved, and I pray to God it's not true.
Derek Reckendorf was Burnham's EMT partner for 5 years until 2018, describing him as a great medic and trusted family friend.
We've had many great times together, spent time, holidays, swimming, camping, everything it's shocking.
I know the charges are horrendous and sickening. That's not the guy I know.
I don't know, they cut it off like that. Just let him finish the sentence. All right, 812. You gotta unmute yourself with the start. There you go. All right, I can. You unmuted yourself. Are you there? Hello. You gotta speak after you unmute yourself. *6. They had themselves unmuted and then they muted themselves again. Okay. Are you there? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm there.
Okay.
I was just going to show this. This is Sarah. I was in EMS for over 32 years, and I wanted to express this young man's really suffering because he was with a partner for so long that he does need a superior to talk to guide him through this. I know what it's like to work with a partner for 10 years and then they be totally different than what they put on when they get in the truck and they act that day. And I think like he's blaming himself because he didn't see any signs. Well, these type of people are so good at hiding things. When they want to do that type of behavior, nobody sees it.
Right.
But, this young really suffering, and that really could affect his career for the years that he wants to put in. And, possibly become a paramedic. I don't,
Well, no, he already is one. He's been one for many years. He worked with him for, well, I don't know what you mean by, is EMS not EMS moves up to being a paramedic, or what do you mean?
Right, you start out, there's first responder, there's an advanced level, and then there's paramedic and critical care paramedic.
Oh, I see.
So I don't.
What are you, Derek? Because he actually works on movies now. Like he's one of the guys that's there helping him. Yeah, I'm sure he makes more money doing that than being an EMS. I can tell you, but yeah, I'll definitely. It's a weird situation, though, isn't it?
Definitely weird, but I have.
He said that they were both medics. So
they're both medics, yeah. And it's a tough world up there, and nothing he could have done could have prevented what this young man was doing with the other. I mean,
Yeah.
they hide it so well. And that I'm not making any excuses for the young man, the man that did these things or accused of doing these things. He's innocent. He goes to court. But it could be that if he's going to be used as a witness in that case, they may not even let him talk to him.
All right.
And that's impossible. So, the big thing is that, he just takes care of himself and his well-meaning and his well-minded, because he might not have seen anything. Like you said, he didn't notice anything. So, I mean, there's a lot of checks and balances when it comes to us giving narcotics out in the field. You would have thought somebody would have picked it up along the lines when they did their QA, and that's done monthly. So, maybe that's how they found it.
Yeah. So are you saying that you could see where there could be opportunities where you could take out medications?
Right, but then there's another method that you have to account for your narcotics or your controlled substance, which he must have used if he sedated the children. And there's a check and balance that goes across there, and they pull the run sheets that you use controlled substances on.
And nobody picked it up in all those years, and they just finally picked it up, or what?
That's what I'm saying. He could have not documented that he used that. And that's why it's taking so long to build the case, because they're going back through each one of his records probably now at any point that he used a sedative or a narcotic on any male or female.
He said, Derek in the chat said, I really appreciate you calling in as a fellow EMS. We tried to get you in, but then I was but it was weird too because I wasn't expecting any phone calls. But
and I was, because I knew he was talking. I know sometimes it takes a while to get on, but I wanted Derek to know that, I stand with him. I'll make sure I get a hold of him and send him my email address. We're strange little redheaded stepchildren, but we're kind of a unique family. No, we really are a unique family, so we wear many hats, but I certainly don't want him blaming himself. And that's where his supervisor should step in and say, hey, come on, let's go have a chat, and offer him that professional help he might need to get through this. This is a big hurdle for him.
It might be his whole, I don't know if it's a fire department or whatever, but they're probably all were like, what? I mean, he worked with them obviously 60 hours a week, which is,
right. And that's pretty common. 60 to 70 hours a week is pretty common. So, but I don't want him blaming himself for something he had no idea was going on. And we do that in our field. We try to figure out what we could have seen to prevent that.
Yeah, you guys see a lot of sad things too. So you probably come to rely on your partner for a lot of different things,
Yeah, and that's nationwide. We rely on each other, even nationwide. That's why I wanted to reach out to Jerry to make sure if he ever just wants to chit chat about it, I don't have a problem with that at all. So, but he doesn't think there's any way that they took narcotics from the drug box. So he must have done it some. Yeah. Well, but we had one guy that would replace the narcotics with normal saline, and we would not know it until we had a patient that the narcotics weren't working on a couple of patients, and then we realized, hey, what's going on? The DEA come in, tested the drugs, and it turned out the guy was actually removing the narcotics and filling the vial back up with normal
saline.
You've
been doing this a long time, or you don't do it anymore, but you did it for a long time, right?
Yeah, no, I still do it for our task force.
No, do you? Okay.
And yeah.
Did you ever watch that show Emergency when you were younger? It was called Emergency with Kevin Tye and Randolph Mantooth.
I used to watch the old one with Johnny and.
That's the one, John and. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
There was a guy named Chet and there. Yeah, it was like at a fire station, right? So all I remember from that one is stuff like. let's see, it would be give him 15 milligrams of Ringer's lactate and D5W. Hey, come on, did I get something right there? Yeah, what was it?
We did go a little bit further now than him, and that we've progressed a little bit more. But I mean, it's just that I felt so bad for him because I can feel in his heart that he's such a good guy.
Yeah.
And a lot, he is a lot of our guys, they got to be tough. And I don't know if this was if the ambulance station was separate from the fire station and, or they were all housed together, but EMS side the fire side necessarily wouldn't have caught so much as his partners in EMS. So, but it is a balancing check. I mean, whoever done their QA at the hospital, their sponsoring hospital should have picked up on that. But, I don't want him going to bed worrying about something he could not have changed the outcome.
Yeah. Well, I know he appreciates what you're saying. Maybe just give me your email in there or something. Or
yeah, please just, if you don't mind, I think I'm on your Patreon. Just, if you want to give me my email.
Well, you could send me, how about you send me an email and I'll just forward your email.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah.
And him and I could talk and stuff.
Yeah, that'd be great.
And I can follow what he's saying.
I'm sure he could. I think he'd really appreciate that. And sorry I didn't get your I didn't get your call the first time. But I was actually like, whoa, what's going on? But
well, there actually was, like I said, there was 3 others in the queue, and I thought, well, this would be perfect. They'll get done with talking to Derek. But I just wanted to make sure I could reach out to him or he could reach out to me. And
well, you were the only one. It said that there was 3 more in the queue. That's weird.
Yeah.
No, you're the only one. You were the only one sitting there. That's strange. You're the only caller, so I don't know why it would say that. Interesting. Maybe I've got some trolls hiding in the background.
I know, it's kind of spooky like that, but they said there was 3 in the queue. So
man, that's weird. That's weird.
I appreciate everything you do for everybody. Gray, you do an awesome job.
Well, thank you.
Your show last night was spot on. I couldn't say anything because that man done set me in a different set of mind.
Oh, the night before last? Yeah, that one about the troll. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like last night was kind of, I can't remember.
Very got it. But anyway, I will send you my email and then you can forward it on to Derek and my number.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay.
Well, thank you for calling in.
All right, thanks, Ray, for you.
Oh, well, thank you. All right, have a good one. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Oh, I'm glad you got back in. I was kind of like, I was confused at first, like, what's going on? But, yeah, it was a good call, so, Derek, there you go. Yeah, don't you remember on emergency, it would go, Squad 51, KMG 365. Hey, wow, quietly frozen. Man, you made up for the entire night. Man, it's been like pulling teeth. Thank you. Wow, thank you so much. I wish I could hear the sound effect, but I had it off during that. The quadruple cat eye. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. And also thank you to Melissa Adams on PayPal with a double cat eye. So that was really cool. Thank you very much. Yeah, well, usually when Quietly Frozen wins, she has somebody else spin. She passes the spin on. I don't know if she'll do that tonight. Every once in a while she might want one. Plus, I would just give her one anyways.
The Kensington chief believes there are more victims and urges anyone.
Anyways, that is... that'll be it. So we'll do an update on Thursday. We'll get Derek to call in, and it's gonna be a tough day for him, man. Wow, how brutal. I mean, I don't think it's any different than finding out your spouse is a serial killer 10 years later, and that happens all the time. All right, I don't think it's any different than that, because I bet he spends more time in person with that EMS guy than he does with, other than that when he's sleeping. I mean, you sleep for 8 hours. That doesn't count, okay? I'm talking about awake hours. He probably spends more time with his partner there than he does with his family. So it's even, more likely that a individual could trick their spouse than it would be for this guy. So it's just wild, So Derek, we'll all be thinking about you. That's a horrible situation. Pretty wild that one of the freaks has a situation like that, but he's a person out in the world just like everybody else. We didn't rotate or anything. Wow, it was just you and him. Yeah, wow. Hey, Quietly Frozen, thank you very much. Appreciate it. She's so generous. I mean, here's the thing: is everybody is generous. I know we're in really crappy times right now. I was hoping, though, even during the crappy times, like, it's amazing we've still, made it through some of the nights, but I feel it just like everybody else. Like it's not the greatest time right now. So it just is what it is. Oh, that was that was you? Oh, okay, well, thank you, Mel. Wow, that's generous too. Both of those. Wow, amazing. Thank you. Awesome. Well, we're officially into the Tumblr mode, just like that, you guys. Isn't that amazing? We are in Tumblr mode. Awesome. There we go. That's what you would have had too. I gotta make more of those types of, custom made.
PayPal is my old last name, lol. Here is another 50.00 for the nostalgia. Smiley face.
Well, thank you very much. Don't you remember that though? It was and then I think it was what was it? I can't remember what the captain's name was, but I actually have an autographed picture, believe it or not, with Kevin Ty from when he was on emergency. He was over at a shopping mall when I was a kid, and he signed it just for me. Yeah. He's the same guy that was on Roadhouse. Remember, he was the guy that owned the bar that the fights were going on in? Yeah. Yeah, one of these days we'll have to go over the emojis again, but not now, because everybody here is people have been here for a long time. I can see them. Or at least the ones talking. The rest of them are just waiting for some kind of a slip up. What will Gray say now that we can... Yeah. And by the way, since you're here now, let's go back over really quickly. Last night, the psycho YouTuber out there that's now threatening to kill people, I want the people that watch his show that are, obviously watching in the background to see some of the comments. So let's do this one more time, then we'll move on. All right, so here we go. One of the people over there named Moondance said, "Are you saying you're a killer? Oh my God." And he said, "Serial killer." There's no laughy emojis, nothing. I mean, I don't think anybody really, normal people, would call themselves a serial killer, all right? So we had that one. Then we had this one here, where he says, if I call his daddy, referring to the person that cloned his account, I think it was, the Norman DeWinter account. He says, if I call his daddy, it will be to tell him his son will be found floating in a river. And then down here, he said, responding to, this lady was talking about Derek Ghazi. He's going to mess with the wrong person one of these days. And he said, yeah, I've been telling people for a long time now that they're playing with the wrong guy. You forgot to say, I'm playing with not a full deck of cards, is what you should have said. And they're playing with the wrong guy. They all think it's a joke. and that they can't be found. Well, listen, I'm not hiding like you guys. All right, I have my real name out there. People can find anybody if they want to. Okay, so, you know, whatever it is, it's just, you know, it's just people are nuts, and this is one of those people. They all think it's a joke and that they can't be found. Soon enough, things are going to change, and for the worse for some of these people, referring to anybody who's crossed him or criticized him in any way, because you can't do that to him. He is awesome. He is the greatest human being on the planet, and there's no way that you can ever say something about him, or he'll let you know that he's skinned many cats in the past who've decided to shit on his lawn if one of their loved ones suddenly goes missing, meaning he's going to abduct one of the people's loved ones that's criticized him and kill them, and it's pointless crying over spilled milk. You know, just blame it on yourself, he's saying. Okay, so you guys are actually out there supporting people that talk like that? Seriously? Wow. Unbelievable.
Yeah, Gray, that's weird, gee.
That's right, Mary Lou. That's right. So I'm putting it out there so that you know he exists, and letting you know that he has been reported to various agencies, literally, okay? And they took it really seriously, not like it's some sort of a joke or something, okay? Maybe that he likes that because it gives him, ooh, wow, he's got credibility of being a psycho. I want to watch it now. Yeah, you go ahead, all right? Yeah, well, it's always like that, GNH. There's a lot of psychos out there. That's always the same, over and over and again. Yeah, he has been multiple times. I know that he's been reported to the Indiana State Police and other actual federal agencies because of his threats of murdering people on his YouTube channel. Okay, and you can't do that. I guess he didn't realize that. All right. So here we go. We're going to move on now, and so that was that. Sorry. Okay. So now let's do the update on Mo Wilson. You know, the bicycle or the gravel bike rider, whatever they want to call him, that was murdered. We went over the whole case. Yoga teacher wanted over cycling star's shooting murder used a silencer. I mean, if that's true, it makes that story a lot crazier. To mask gunfire and stole a bike to make it look like a robbery gone wrong. See, that's exactly what we said. Don't you remember that? Cyclist Moriah Mo Wilson, 25, was shot dead on May 11th in Austin, Texas, while she was visiting from San Francisco. Let me just go down here. Neighbors who live next to the... I wonder if they're just calling it a silencer because nobody heard anything. Neighbors who live next to the Texas apartment where cyclist Moriah Mo Wilson was staying say they didn't hear any gunshots on the night of the murder. Now, let's see. I'm gonna go try to find this. I think it was on day was that the 21st? Yeah, there it is. Yeah, so it was right here. You remember how this all worked out? Like after they went to the swimming pool, I think that's, if I remember right, wasn't that around like 5:30 or something? Then you see Armstrong's car drive up like this, and then it probably came around the corner and stopped here, but that was right after Moriah was Moriah was dropped off, and the boyfriend of the girl, Armstrong, that drove up, he drove away like this, just before she pulled in. And then she apparently went up these stairs right here, went inside that house, shot her multiple times, and then apparently the neighbor had the garage door open, and then he saw somebody come walking down and then ride a bike by. And then if you look down here, the car was 60 feet from the property in bamboo, and as we can see right here, the bamboo is right here. There's no other bamboo anywhere other than directly south of, south of the house, right here. And so she probably came, right around in this area, lifted the bike over the fence and just dropped it into bamboo to hide it, to make it look like somebody robbed the house. Yeah. Let's see. Who are you talking about? On a happier note, I'm making him take time off. He did bring me to work with him in New York for Met Gala, and I get to meet Nicki Minaj. And who's the person you're saying you're going to have take time off? I don't know what that means. Don't know what that means. Oh, you're talking, that's your husband. I see. See, that's Mrs. Derek, D&K Wreck. Now it makes sense. I was thinking that was Derek typing. None of you guys could question that, or you just knew it was girl code and that was the wife? Man, you guys are crazy. I looked at it logically and went, wait, what do you mean him taking his day off? So you're having the guy that's in jail, you're happy to take his day off, but you somehow knew that it was... Okay. You guys are awesome. I don't know how you do it. Armstrong 35 may have been driven by jealousy and a belief that Strickland was cheating on her. Well, it was totally reasonable to believe that. I think I would have heard gunshots next door if she was using a 9mm, so the shooter must have been used a suppressor. Well, there you go. See, we don't, now it's just not really, the headline's misleading because nobody said she used a silencer. You have to be careful with these redheads, man. Hey, just like our caller. She said they were like the redheaded stepchild. Sarah. Yes, you guys are awesome at girl code. That's unbelievable, really. Because what he said prior to that made no sense. Like he made the guy that's in jail take a vacation? Wow, unbelievable. Yeah, we know who it is. Yeah. That's what D&K Wreck is. Derek. And, actually, I don't know what his wife's first name is. But yep, girl code for the win, man. You guys just figured it out somehow. Look at that. They have a picture of one here. The only thing missing from Wilson's room was her bike. Wilson was in town to prepare for a race. He did say the woman who owns the apartment is pretty shook up. She's probably not going to live there anymore, he added. Harris said 9mm silencers retail from anywhere from $500 to $900, in which, yeah, I don't know. I'm not buying it was a silencer unless somebody official tells me that. All it was she uses a silencer, and then the proof of it was that somebody said, well, I didn't hear anything, so it must have been a silencer. Sarah. Okay, there you go. All right. Yeah. Cool. That's a good name. I like that name. Derek and Cassera. Wow, what a mess. See, Alfred E. Newman. Yeah. And see now, look at they have the same. After they saw
The problem with antivirus today
they saw our street view and they were like, "Hey, we need to go down there, man. It's right there."
is it's too slow and it takes up too much space. Oh, sorry, we meant the problem with other antivirus.
Oh man, you click on it, you're out of here.
WebRoot Secure Anywhere is 33 times smaller than the average antivirus. It installs in 2 seconds.
I guess we have to wait for this ad to play. Man, what a joke. They were like, "Hey, we gotta go get that same shot. Look." I mean, it's exactly the same. And that's actually from the where the car was spotted on camera. Yeah. All right, well, I guess that was the only update, that they said that there was a silencer, but the only evidence was that somebody said they couldn't hear anything, so it must have been a silencer. Boy, that's hardcore reporting there. Let's see. What case is that one? Yeah, well, I think we'll try to do that one tomorrow. This teen that disappeared in Florida, named Sophie Reeder. Well, let's just take a look at this one. Hold on. So, $25,000 reward offered for information years after teen's disappearance in Fort Lauderdale in 2017. So I guess this is a surveillance of her leaving the house, I guess. Oh, look at that. There's a... That's a... What is that? It's not a cat. It's an animal of some sort. Look at that. It's a pig or... That's weird. So that's her walking down the street, right? It's a possum. Did you guys see that thing? They probably didn't even notice that thing, but... Anyways, that's her walking right here, I guess. And then she just disappeared. Wonder why they show all this extra footage when there's nothing in it. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe we'll take a look at it. That's her again, I guess. What we'll do is we'll figure out where all these spots are and we'll try to put it all together. She doesn't look like she's going anywhere. What's in her hand, though? Kind of like a... No, it's probably just like a... something that looks like it's in her hand, but it's not. It's part of like a buckle or something hanging down from something she's carrying. A purse or something. This is the... I don't know. I just saw it. It was the... Sophie Reeder. So we'll take a look at that one tomorrow. Right. It wasn't even what I was doing. I just had the folder there. All right, so let's go over this one really quick. This is baby Theresa This is a baby that was found back in 2009, and they found the mother of it, but I thought I'd do what we normally do, go back over the the newspapers.com information when it first happened. So, said dead baby found in garbage bag. Authorities are looking for information about a apparently full-term baby found dead in a garbage bag Wednesday in rural northeast Dodge County. The Dodge County Sheriff's Department said it was called at about 5 p.m. by a person who was cutting wood in the town of Theresa, about 65 miles northeast of Madison, when he saw a garbage bag, looked inside, and found the baby. The baby appeared to have been born within the last 24 hours and abandoned at the site. The Sheriff's Department said authorities declined to release the sex or race of the infant or a possible cause of death before the results of an autopsy scheduled for today are received. The Sheriff's Department is asking for help in finding the baby's mother and said the infant was found in an isolated area about 2 miles south of the village of Theresa, just a few miles off Highway 41. Oops. Yeah. So I think it's right in this area right here. Like right on this road right here, in one of these wooded areas. Probably more like right there or right here. Although I guess if you went back, let's see what 2008 looked like. So you got that wooded area and that wooded area. So it's right there. We are looking for information from people that are familiar with others who were pregnant and close to delivery. Anyone with information can call the Sheriff's Department at 920-386. Yeah, so that was back in 2009. And then we go to, that was April 30th. Now we go to May 1st. Dodge County Sheriff Todd Nils said the mother of a baby found dead in a garbage bag in the woods near Theresa likely, yeah, I thought it was Theresa, but they call it Theresa over there, likely needs medical attention. Nils said Thursday that evidence suggests the mother had a difficult delivery that jeopardizes her health. The sheriff says that's probably a trick. They're trying to, oh yeah, okay, yeah, it was, that's what I think. I think it was a trick to get the person to come forward. The sheriff says he's expected someone will step forward with information about the mother. Someone cutting wood came across the garbage bag late Wednesday afternoon. Authorities believe the baby had been born in the past 24 hours. The sheriff says the garbage bag was found about 20 yards from a road in an isolated area south of Theresa. The village is not far from US 41. All right, then we go all the way to the 5th, 4 days later. Baby Theresa case still a mystery in Dodge County. The Dodge County Sheriff's Department was swamped with tips from the public when news broke of a newborn baby found deceased inside of garbage bags in the woods in the village of Theresa on April 28. But Sheriff Todd Nels said Monday the tips dried up over the weekend and authorities are still trying to locate the mother of baby Theresa. A name police bestowed upon the dead infant to give her an identity because she was found in that area. Kind of made sense, I guess. Either people are so close to this mother that they feel it is best interest not to tell us who she is, or the mother may not be from Wisconsin or the area and was coming through or traveled a great distance to abandon that child. Dodge County Sheriff Lieutenant Joan Sawyer says investigators are now looking for the woman as far south as Chicago. They're checking the medical facilities around the region. So unfortunately I don't have a time frame. They can't make any connection of any kind. Initial police reports indicate baby Theresa was born within 24 hours of being found. However, Strobel said following a news conference Monday he can't yet confirm that. Unfortunately, I don't have the time frame, he said. Some of those tests are a little bit lengthy, and we want to make sure we get all the answers right. And that's a sketch of the baby. They sure didn't want to try to make it a cute baby, I'll tell you that. Well, Gray, they were just making it look the way it looked. Yeah, and then this one they gave, you know, obviously they... Look at it. I mean, it's just... What does this remind you guys of? Right now, go ahead. What does this remind you of? What? The Velvet Army. What? What does this remind you of right here? To me, it reminds me of the Bibb County Doe. You know, look how the whole community's... Yeah, that's right. Lori Fisher typed it in. Danny Armentrout. Look at how everybody's there. They came from Lowell and nearby Roseville. I mean, just a huge community filled with people burying this little baby. Yeah, so this is back in May 12th. Well, yeah, did you see how they drew it? It was just like, it was weird. But I mean, I was joking. It should look like the baby looked. But sketching a baby is ludicrous, okay? Just in general, it's dumb. All right, then 2014, especially an infant when they all look pretty much the same, you know. April 29, 2014 marks the 5th anniversary since the body. So notice how there's woods right there. And so those are the only spots that have woods, and there's no street view here. It's right here. Maybe there, but it looked more dense than that, and then right there. Other than that, there's no other spots that would make sense. So this is 2014, so after 2009 it just kind of wasn't in the paper at all. And then April 29, 2014 marks the 5th anniversary since the body of a newborn girl was found in a garbage bag in the woods in the town of Theresa. Since the discovery of baby Theresa, many leads have been exhausted and the mother of the child is yet to be identified. According to Dodge County Medical Examiner P.J. Schobel, autopsy findings indicate that baby Theresa was a full-term infant weighing 8 pounds, 20 and a half inches in length, who had suffered no trauma, which would have resulted in her death. In addition, a complete toxicology screen was performed and was negative for any drug in her system. The investigation has ruled out the possibility that residents close to where baby Theresa was found were related to her. Baby Theresa was found on Lone Road, less than 1 mile from STH 175 and less than 3 miles from US 41. Alright, so they said 3/4 of a mile, less than 1 mile from STH 175. Alright, so here is STH 175. So I guess if you started right here, you'd have to go like that. And they said less than 1 mile. That's at a half. 0.82. So now that's at a mile, but I'm wondering though if they actually just started from right here, and then that would place you right in this wooded area right there. This one looked more secluded though. So that's 175, and they said, and then less than 3 miles from US 41. So it's 41. Where's 41? Oh, there's 41. So 41 goes over here. Not really sure how they would figure that out. Not sure how they're measuring that, actually. Yeah, so right in this report, they don't think there was any, they couldn't see anything. But here's the thing, everybody. If you actually put your hand, like if you smothered a baby, you wouldn't know. I mean, like there's no physical evidence on there. I guess maybe there's some things they can find inside, I guess, but you could probably do it in a way with a baby where there wouldn't be any physical evidence in terms of bruising or anything. So I don't know. All right. So then we get to 2022-317, and it says woman charged in baby Theresa's infant death case. I saw this in the news back then. I just never covered it. So hold on.
Now been solved.
Authorities now have charged a woman in connection to the discovery of a newborn baby in a garbage bag in the woods of Theresa back in 2009.
Theresa.
The girl was known as baby Theresa. 45-year-old Karen Lutinen from Milwaukee
so she was called
is now
baby
charged
Theresa, but it
with
was in
concealing
Theresa.
the death of a child. She is the mother of that baby.
Emily Montesic joins us live now from Dodge County, where the sheriff declared the case to be resolved this afternoon. Emily.
Yeah, Bill and Cammie, more than a decade after baby Theresa was found in the woods, authorities have been able to identify the mother, bringing closure to the case. Following the discovery of baby Theresa's body, the community embraced the infant, laying her to rest as authorities worked to find out who she was, how she died, and why she ended up in the woods. At the time of her discovery, the county medical examiner determined she was born full term,
Well, that's
but either
actually
died
video,
before
those
or
images.
during birth. In the past
Look at
10
that.
plus years, investigators
That's
have
the
worked
same
to identify
photograph.
the baby's mother, and through DNA, they were finally able to determine that woman was Karen Lutinen.
We used a
Lutinen.
service that provided a
Wow, QWERTY.
genetic profile in
Keyboard
the family,
strokes,
and they
QWER.
used a, similar to
Thank
actually
you so much.
Ancestry, which provided us a family tree for baby Theresa. And working through the family tree, that provided us to develop some leads as to the family.
According to the criminal complaint, Karen
I'm putting
Lutinen,
you
who
in
was
for the
formally
drawing.
charged in Dodge County Court today, admitted to investigators she gave birth to the baby alone in her Shorewood home.
There you go.
She said she didn't know she was pregnant until the end of her pregnancy, and she never told anyone, including the baby's father, about the child.
For all your
Thank
hard
you.
work.
I appreciate it. Thank you. I mean, let me ask you something. You guys have been, well, at the end of each show, I draw for like a tumbler, you know, for any $5 or more, and you get a chance for every $5 you put in, so you just got 20 chances. All right, so you're in there, and you can win the tumbler above my head right there. They're really good tumblers, you know. They you know, they usually cost me like $25 to $30, so you know. But it's cool. It has all of a whole bunch of stuff related to the show on it, you know, like tons and tons of stuff. So that's what you can win. Well, let me ask you guys something. For those of you who had babies out there, and somebody says, "I didn't know I was pregnant till I gave birth," that's what I wanted to ask. Is that real? I mean, could you picture that being something that happens? I didn't know I was pregnant until I gave birth. You hear that story all the time. But does anybody believe that? Yeah. Yeah, I don't think a lot of people believe that one. Yeah. So let's see what it says.
Family
again.
tree that provided us to develop some leads as to the family.
You hear that a lot.
According to the criminal complaint, Karen Lutinen, who was formally charged in Dodge County Court today, admitted to investigators she gave birth to the baby alone in her Shorewood home. She said she didn't know she was pregnant until the end of her pregnancy, and she never told anyone, including the baby's father, about the child. Lieutenant said the baby never cried after she was delivered. She didn't open her eyes and she wasn't breathing. Lieutenant believed the umbilical cord was also partially around the baby's neck. Scared and in shock, Lieutenant said she wrapped the baby in a towel, put her in a garbage.
So she's admitting that before they told her anything, she admitted that it looked like it was suffocated somehow, because maybe that'll help explain that away. Oh man, they should have ran with that. Well, what made you think he was suffocated? Because they weren't able to find any signs of any reason that the baby died, but
bag and then drove around aimlessly, eventually stopping and leaving the baby in the woods before heading home. The sheriff says while the investigation took more than a decade to complete, he's relieved to have finally been able, with the help of many, to piece this all together.
Now that we're here 13 years later, I think it's bittersweet. Certainly we've got a baby that is not with us that would be 13 years.
What, you don't want to win the tumbler, Cordy? I didn't hear back from you after that.
Old, going into high school here soon, but at the same time we have closure, not only for our community, but for those family members as well.
She was 1 day old, the baby.
Lieutenant, who was in court today, waived.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for coming to our press conference today. I'll start with a couple of introductions here. Behind me, to my left, we have District Attorney Clerk Kurt Klomberg, and to my right, our medical examiner
I can't make it
PJ
bigger.
Schobel. I am Dodge County Sheriff Dale Schmidt,
Let's see if it
and
looks
today
better
we want to
than
share some
Firefly.
information with you about the death investigation regarding the baby known as baby Theresa. 13 years ago, authorities in Dodge County found a deceased baby near the village of Theresa. Until today, the community has been left wondering if her family would ever be identified. Today, we can provide that closure. This case has been resolved. On Wednesday, April 29th, 2009, the Dodge County Sheriff's Office and the Dodge County Medical Examiner's Office.
Oh, hold on. I'm going to switch over. Look at that. It does work better. There we go. Firefox. Good for Firefox.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for coming to our press conference
Okay.
today. I'll start with a couple of introductions here behind me. To my left,
But you don't
we
want to
have,
win it
District
from me?
Attorney,
Come on,
Clerk
Cordy.
Kurt Klomberg, and to my right, our medical examiner Lieutenant from Milwaukee. Our offices worked closely with the Dodge County District Attorney's Office to identify the correct charge in this incident. After evaluating all evidence, it was determined that the appropriate charge in this case is concealing the death of a child under Wisconsin State Statute 948.23,
I don't believe it.
sub
Don't
1, sub
believe
A,
it.
related to the issue of a woman. Concealing the death of a child or the issue of a woman is a Class I felony, punishable by statute by not more than $10,000 or imprisonment by no more than 3 years or 6 months, or both. Today, the mother made her initial appearance in Dodge County Circuit Court, and we will now wait for the legal process to take its course. Today, we will not be able to release any additional.
Here's what I can believe. I can believe somebody was in denial and says that they didn't know that they were pregnant. But they're... Oh, come on, Cordy. What's going on here? What happened? What'd I do? I tell you what, even if you don't win, given that numbers that you just... That's crazy. You and Quietly Frozen. Okay. Well, thank you so much. Let me add that in there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 7, 8, 9, 30, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 40. Wow. That's a lot of fives. Anyways, thank you very much.
Information related to the investigation itself. For details, you may certainly request a copy of the criminal complaint from the courts, as it is paramount that we maintain the integrity of this case throughout the criminal proceedings. This incident shocked our Dodge County community when it occurred. By as shocking as
Yeah,
it
how
may
would you
be,
not know
the
that
professionals
your
of the Dodge County Sheriff's
stomach's
Office,
getting way
the
bigger?
Dodge County District Attorney's Office,
You're-
and the Dodge County Medical
there's something
Examiner's
moving
Office,
around
along
in
with our
there.
community, came together from the initial discovery of baby Teresa's.
But let me ask you this one question, because I've never been pregnant myself. I know that technology is starting to come around where, you know, you can have the next child. I already had this. Okay, woo. When the baby's moving around and kicking and so forth, does it feel the same as having gas?
Body until today. I'd like to now have District Attorney Klomberg also provide some information for you.
I'm Dodge County District Attorney Kurt Klomberg. Because this case that we are discussing is not concluded, for ethical reasons, I must be very limited in my comments. I'm also ethically required to remind
come on, what's going on? What did I
the
do?
defendant is
Man, you guys are amazing. Thanks. This isn't even donation night. What's going on? Anyways, thank you guys. Made up for a lot of those crazy nights that we had. And thanks everybody, you know. I know it's crappy times out there, but you know.
presumed innocent unless and until proven guilty in court. I want to recognize the exceptional work of the Sheriff's Office and the medical examiner in this investigation.
I don't know,
The commitment
Cindy.
from
I don't
both
buy it.
offices was extraordinary.
Let's
The
get
charge in
things
this
rolling.
case is concealing the death of a child, specifically the issue of a woman. The issue of a woman is a legal term that includes a child not born alive. This crime carries a maximum penalty of 1.5 years of initial confinement and 2 years of extended supervision.
What a ridiculously low penalty that is. I mean, that is just... Alright, so I'm just going to move it forward to April 19th. And it says, Wisconsin mom who didn't know how to repent for leaving dead baby's body in the woods pleads guilty to concealing child's death. Wisconsin woman admitted that she discarded a dead baby girl's body in a secluded area of rural Wisconsin, pleaded guilty on Monday to a single felony count of concealing the death of a child, according to court records in the matter. Right, so that she, at that point, she, no, that was back when they had the funeral right there. Oh, it says right here, a man identified in court documents as witness S was the girl's father. The amended criminal complaint indicates he never knew Lutonin was pregnant. Here's how the investigators revealed that knowledge to him. Wow. So witness S returned by phone call. I requested a second interview to talk about the crime lab results. They must have done genetic genealogy and it led to him too. Witness S replied, are you telling me this is my kid? Hey, come on, Cordy. What's going on? Man, I've never, this is wild. Hey, thank you so much. Wow. Man. Those are going to be some skinny pies. I'm going to have to spin like a few times. Yeah, thank you so much. And good night. Send me an email anyways, would you? Cordy? I'll have to figure out how to... You guys are amazing. Thanks for all of you guys. Yep. From 5 to the hundreds, you guys are awesome. I mean, it's you know, trying to. I think we just made up for a few of those other nights that we had, though. So, boom. Hopefully, we're. You know, so far this year, we've donated 18,000. What are we at here? Hold on. 18,125. Last year we did $42,000 to charity, so 18,125. You know, if we can get that to like, you know, I was thinking, if we get it over, let's see, it was like, maybe we'll try to get it to like 20,500 to get rid of that 125. Doesn't that 125 bug any of you guys as much as it does me? You want me to send all the gifts to chasing? All right. Okay. Yeah. You know you won? Okay. I'm sure you will. I'm sure there's a good chance that you'd win. I can tell you that. So witness is still with it'd be cool for her to have I gave her a tumbler at CrimeCon, but I was wondering if maybe she doesn't have one of the other ones. The girl code. Maybe the mod tumbler, She's never really here for a mod, but she was made an honorary mod because that's what you do, man, so people can't, get rid of them. Yeah, the girl code. I need to make a girl code tumbler, don't you think? I think that'd just be cool by itself, like the girl code, and then maybe like some kind of something that represents that, like two heads going oogla boogla ooh la la, and the other one's like, yes, I'll see you at 6. Yeah. Yeah, it got wild in here, the Velvet Army. Not sure what happened. But thanks again. Absolutely crazy. Yeah, so we're gonna definitely try to get that up to. We'll try to get to like we've already done 1,500 this month. So if we could somehow, it would be great if I could round it up to get it all the way to 21 after donation night. So that would be perfect. Then we can just start moving. Maybe somehow send in something like 375 to like rain or something, and then the other amount 2,500 or something if we get to that point to the DNA fund, because we're working on another full funding for another case. I mean, we do some cool shit here. I'm not kidding. Well, send me an email, Mel A. Okay? Yeah, you'll win one. Okay, send me an email. Will you do that? Oh, I think I might have your email from the PayPal. I have been to Hawthorne Street. Where I live looks sort of like that, Qwerty. Multnomah. Have you ever been to Multnomah Village? Kind of similar looking, cool shops over by Gabriel Park. Do you live here, or you've been there before? Nobody has a clue who QWERTY is, though. It's like you know what that is? Look on your keyboard, everybody. Next to the tab key, there's a Q, then a W, then an E, R, T, Y, right over like that. It was like, what should I call myself? Hell with it. There we go. What should be a mug? Cindy? Oh, we do some cool shit here. Yeah, that's right. Have a piece of poop in the middle. That little poop emoji that you guys always put up in the screen. Maybe that. Anyways, so this is when they actually got a hold of the biological father. Witness S returned my phone call. I requested a second interview to talk about the crime lab results. Witness S replied, "Are you telling me this is my kid? You've got to be shitting me. I gave you all the information that I knew. I have no idea how this could be." I told Witness S that he was the father. I asked if Karen Lutonen was present. Witness S asked if she is the mother. I replied, okay. I asked Karen Lutonen. I asked if Karen Luton was present. Witness S asked if she is the mother. I replied yes. Witness S replied, oh my God, are you kidding me? Oh my God, I don't think she knew either. That's why we took the test. We knew it wouldn't be us. No, she knew. I don't want to say this is funny, but by far the weirdest thing that I've ever experienced in my life. Witness S placed his phone on speaker so Karen Luton could hear. Again, I requested an interview to discuss the crime lab results with Witness S. If he's the father and you are the mother, Karen Luton replied, okay. Witness S spoke softer and heard him say, should we get an attorney? Karen Luton asked that that she call me back, and the phone call ended. Huh. So that's the amended criminal complaint. Is this going to go right to it? Wait, are you serious? Come on. They named you that? Yeah, so let me guess. Your last name is Yuop, Y-U-I-O-P at the other end. And that's why they named you QWERTY? My name is QWERTY. It's what my parents named me. So you're telling me... Well, you know what my name is? Oh, look at, there's a fly on Blue's head. Look at that. Oh, man, that was weird looking. I was born Lance, okay? But not really. I was born L. Gray Hughes. And the doctor wrote Lance on my birth certificate. So I don't know what I am. I know I am a mutt, though. I know that. Just like... look, it looks like Chloe's looking at the fly. It's weird. Yeah, it's actually be pretty interesting if we were going to go over this whole thing. I can tell. It actually goes through everything about her. Karen Luton water broke over the toilet. She delivered the baby in the bathtub. Karen Luton did not push the baby out of her. She squatted while in the bathtub. Karen Luton turned the water on. Turned the water on all of the way, like to fill the tub. She did not remember how much water filled the tub, but it was not all the way to the top of the regular sized bathtub. Yeah. Let's see. The baby was delivered head first, face down in the water. The umbilical cord was partially wrapped around the baby's neck. Karen Luton passed out in the bathtub after delivery. I don't know about that. So that just sounds like you don't want to. It's almost like, you know, the Jodi Arias again. After she blacked out. She doesn't remember the key moments. The umbilical cord was partially wrapped around the baby's neck. She passed out. Karen Luton wrapped the baby in a towel. She obtained a garbage bag from the kitchen and placed the baby in the garbage bag. Karen Luton, so the baby drowned? Is that what you're saying? Karen Luton placed the baby in her large purse. She was still panicking. Karen Luton drove her blue Sunfire aimlessly to an unknown area where she placed the child. Karen Luton aimlessly? Are you kidding me? Look at this. Is this aimlessly? That's like this highway drive for, and the distance is, let's see, 42 miles aimlessly driving. There's plenty of other places that you could have stopped, but you didn't stop there. You drove about as far, you know, pretty far away, you know, and then you somehow you go back on this one crazy road and put the baby in the woods. I don't know. It doesn't really sound like, you know, aimlessly anything. I almost want to... I think I'm going to save this thing. I got to get this. Document. Where are we? Should be able to download this somewhere, right? Okay, there's the PDF. Okay, there we go. Boom. What do you guys think about this? All right, let's just I kind of want to go through some of this up here. During the pregnancy, witness S attended college at University of Milwaukee. Karen Luton did not know she was pregnant at first, and then she thought that maybe she was pregnant. Karen Luton thought that she was in denial. God, did I not say that a little bit ago? Like, this can't be. Karen Luton was a lot bigger back then, and her menstruations were irregular. Karen Luton thought that towards the end of her pregnancy, she knew for sure that she was pregnant, but her mind was not grasping the concept. Karen Luton said that it all happened so quickly. She remembers being in the bathroom at the Shorewood home and sitting on the toilet. She was also in the bathtub. It's not a perfect picture that I can paint for you of exactly what happened. I didn't even know it was a girl. Yeah. So, Cordy, do you live in the area or what? I don't know what. Yeah. I mean, if you knew Hawthorne, you must be sort of familiar with the area. Karen Luton delivered the baby by herself. She was in intense pain for 30-ish minutes. She believes she passed out because of giving birth. Karen Luton said that her water broke when she was sitting over the toilet. The delivery occurred in the bathtub. The baby came out head first, face down. I asked Karen Luton if the umbilical cord was wrapped around the baby's neck. She replied she thought the cord was partially wrapped around the neck, and that's because you suggested it to her. Luton said she went blank. Of course she did. Now you don't have to explain remembering anything. Karen Luton did not hear the baby cry. She did not see the baby move. Karen Luton thought she blacked out for about 15 minutes. So it wasn't your fault at all at that point. Karen Luton panicked when she came to. Karen Luton grabbed a towel and put it in the towel, the baby. Karen Luton had obtained a garbage bag from the kitchen. She placed the baby in the garbage bag and then into her purse. Karen Luton got in her blue Sunfire and drove aimlessly. Karen Luton was asked if she saw anything on the news about the baby. Karen Luton replied no. She did not really watch the news back then, and she did not have a smartphone. See, here's the thing. Why would anybody do that? Let's say you gave birth and the baby died. Wouldn't you just call, whoa, what's going on? And, seek help somehow? But instead you drive it and throw it in a trash bag. I mean, this sounds like the same crap when you cut body parts off when somebody dies at a party. Like your poems. We just need Dan Carr to, send a new one in. Karen Luton was asked if she saw anything on the news. Okay, Karen Luton did not seek medical help before or after the baby was delivered. There are no medical records available to show that she was pregnant. She menstruated as normal after the delivery of the baby. Karen Luton confirmed the following facts. There was no one else that knew that she was pregnant. She was home alone. She delivered the baby. Karen Luton had 30 minutes of hard labor. Karen Luton water broke over the toilet. She delivered the baby in the bathtub. Karen Luton did not push. That must have been really frightening if that's a true story, but I don't know, something about it. Karen Luton did not push the baby out of her. She squatted while in the bathtub. Karen Luton turned the water on all the way, like to fill the tub. She did not remember how much water filled the tub, but it was not all the way to the top of the regular-sized bathtub. The baby was delivered head first, face down in the water. Karen Luton passed out. Yep, you already said that. Now, let's see. Karen Luton cleaned the bathroom. She used the washcloth with soap Well, let's see. Man, this is crazy. Karen Luton drew out an outline on the bathtub, which was described as an old standard white premium bathtub with a longer bathroom. Karen Luton was squatting when the baby came out. Yep. When Karen Luton awoke, she saw the baby was face down in the water, so the baby drowned, near the drain. The baby wasn't, but wouldn't the autopsy have shown water in the lungs? The baby wasn't moving. Karen Luton did not hear the baby cry. Karen Luton did not attempt CPR to revive the baby. Karen Luton had a phone that she could have used to call for help. Karen Luton could not recall the sex of the child. Karen Luton described the baby as pale looking. The umbilical cord was wrapped around the baby's neck after you told her about the baby. Yeah, now it's wrapped around the neck, right? When earlier, she didn't even, she goes, you know, it might have been after you suggested it to her. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Karen Luton doesn't remember much blood or tearing. She gave birth to all the placenta. Karen Luton did not dispose of anything in the garbage around her residence. She surmised that the placenta was discarded in the toilet. Karen Luton wrapped the baby in a towel. She obtained a garbage bag from the kitchen. She placed the wrapped baby in the garbage bag. Karen Luton placed the sanitary napkin that, yeah, this just sounds so, it's just sick, you know? It's I mean, this is a human right here. Karen Luton cleaned the bathroom. She used a washcloth with soap that was in the bathtub. The only cleanup that, other than the bathtub, was the toilet and the space between the toilet and the bathtub. Within an hour of giving birth, Karen Luton placed the mustard-colored oversized purse containing the garbage bag that enclosed the baby on the front passenger seat of her blue Sunfire. So right over, she's driving, yeah. Just next to her is a mustard-colored purse with a baby wrapped in a garbage bag. She drove on Capitol Drive. Let's see if I got that. So Drive 143, and then crossed over onto US 41, because there was a second one. My original idea was that she went like this, but sounds like, you know, she's on 141. That's the one this is on. It was daylight and possibly late afternoon. Karen Luton believed that she had been gone from home way too long and pulled over on the side of the road. Karen Luton drew the road where she parked her car and a location of a nearby house. Karen Luton did not see anyone. Any other vehicles in the area were off in the distance. Karen Luton took the garbage bag from her mustard-colored purse and placed it in the woods. Karen Luton returned to her vehicle. She surmised that she drove until she found a sign that directed her to US 41 because she didn't know where she was. Karen Luton did not make any stops on her return. I actually looked to see if she lived in that area. She didn't. Karen Luton returned home when it was still daylight. She changed her sanitary napkin. Karen Luton still had some discomfort and surmised that she took some Advil. Karen Luton did not have any medical issues following the birth. She denied postpartum depression because she is an up-down person in general. Karen Luton never told anyone that she was pregnant and gave birth. She continued her life and compartmentalized the pregnancy. Karen Luton continued to use the mustard-colored purse until the strap broke in 2009. Until the strap broke. And then it says, in 2009, she saw something on the news 5 years later. Karen Luton thought that the discarded baby was the baby she placed in the woods. On April 20, what year was this again? Yeah, it's 2009. On April 29, 2009, the trash bag containing the newborn baby was transported to the Fond du Lac Medical Examiner's Office. Hold on, let me see something. What do you guys think of this? May of 2009, the DNA was sent to the unit. Okay, let me see. Karen Luton did not wake up gasping for air due to the information of the bathtub. It had a higher back. Right, so she passed out in the bathtub, but she didn't, drown. Karen Luton initially did not have an answer as to why she drove her baby to a wooded area in Dodge County. Karen Luton was asked why she drove so far to discard her baby, which we just were wondering about a minute ago, when there were 10,000 dumpsters close to the area of residence. Karen Luton said her baby wasn't trash, and she wouldn't throw her baby in a dumpster, but you would put it in a plastic bag and just toss it in the woods. Yeah, okay. Karen Luton surmised that she placed her baby in the woods as a final resting place. I mean, these people buy this shit? I mean, Karen Luton was asked if she was surprised that baby Theresa was found. Karen Luton replied yes and no. The first time she heard, and not only that, the baby was found the day later, During the drive to the woods, Karen Luton described being in shock and thinking, oh my God, oh my God. Karen Luton denied remembering cutting her baby's umbilical cord. Karen Luton knew the placenta came out of her, but couldn't remember what she did with it. Karen Luton had a feeling that she was having another child and thought that that second feeling was when the placenta came out. Karen Luton did not recall the placenta came out before she left the residence with her baby or that she returned to her residence. 35, let's see. Karen Luton said she wasn't moving and she felt her baby's heart area and the chest was not moving up or down. The baby was totally still. The baby's eyes were closed. Karen Luton didn't remember performing any life-saving measures. Karen Luton wrapped the baby in a towel and then grabbed a bag in the kitchen. Yes. I don't know, man. I'm about done with that one. This is sick. Oh, sorry to hear that, Cindy. Jeez. So here we go.
How much personal information are you willing to give the government?
Would your answer change if your unique data...
Yeah, this is sort of, they're trying to, diss on, I don't know what they're trying to make people go, I don't know if I'd want to give my information to Family Tree if you're going to give it, who cares? Man, look at all the good it's been doing lately, okay? Gosh, Gray, that's so naive. Don't you understand? They're going to start tracking people with nanobots. Well, anyways, she got sentenced to 1 to 3 years. That's it. That's what happened. All she got was 1 to 3 years for coming up with a story that was believable, and they call it a day.
I looked into regulations nationwide for genealogy.
Yeah. Good stuff, huh? Jeez. Wow. I mean, she just discarded that baby like it was trash. And I don't believe any of the story, actually. I don't think she wanted it. And she... it doesn't make any sense. All of it is so convenient. Oh, I passed out right when I was giving birth. And of course I gave birth in a bathtub. That way I can explain why it might have drowned. And then if I... Yeah, she got nothing. Yeah. Alright, now we're just going to get on to the last story. It's the cold case from 1990, so it's not too long ago, of Kristin Gray, alright? Wait a second. Ding 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 diddle ding ding. That's so funny. Thank you, Dana, on PayPal. You know what's so funny, Dana? I was actually thinking, I've never received the exact amount that you sent in. It was so funny. I was just thinking that earlier. Just a random thought that popped into my head. Is that ESP? There we go. Thank you. Appreciate it. That's so weird. What are the odds of that? Oh shit, I'm caught, is what she was thinking. Yeah. Okay, here we go. This is Kristin Gray. Never heard of this one. Probably never will again. It's just, this is in Miami, Florida, back in 1990. It looked pretty interesting though, so we'll just do this one until we get through it. All right. The search for 8-year-old Kristin Gray ended Sunday morning, 16 and a half hours after it began, with the discovery of her body in South Dade Canal, 11 and a half miles from where she was last seen on her new roller skates. See, these are those kind of, look at, this is her right here. She's only 8 years old. And some, you know, savage nut job killed her. Yeah, she's got that little mischievous face, you know. It's just, I don't know, man. Doesn't it make you angry sometimes? And these are the cases that they go cold really quick and boom, nothing. The search for 8-year-old Kristin Gray ended Sunday morning, 16 and a half hours after it began, with the discovery of her body in South Dade Canal. Let me get the folder in here. Put that right there. Okay, got it. And then we'll go to South Dade Canal. Is that gonna do it? Get us down to Florida? Yeah. So somewhere around in here. "11 and a half miles from where she was last seen on her new roller skates. A fisherman found her at 8:20 a.m., 3/4 of a mile." All right, so let's see. We got to go to 8:20 a.m. near 3/4 of a mile north of Homestead Air Force Base. Okay. So there is the Air Force Base. We'll just put a pin somewhere around here. Three-quarters of a mile north of Homestead Air Force Base. Metro Dade police identified her through fingerprints late Sunday afternoon. Police did not release the cause of death. No suspect has been found by late Sunday. You read about this kind of stuff, but it's always somebody else, said family friend Douglas Beard. There's no way you can explain it. I don't think there's any way anyone could have prevented it. Kristen's stepfather, whom she was visiting when she disappeared, couldn't be reached late Sunday. Her mother, Suzanne Shirk, couldn't talk about the disappearance. She asked Beard to do it. Between the account and what police and neighbors reported, this is what is known. Kristen, a third grader in Ludlam Elementary School's gifted program, was playing with their new skates when she vanished Saturday afternoon outside her stepfather's second-floor apartment. So there you go. Now we get the address of where she lives. So she lived at her stepfather's 7487 Southwest 82nd Street. And this is in Miami, I guess. 7487 Southwest 82nd Street, Miami. Yeah. And was it apartments? Yeah. So there you go. This is where she lived. So she lived in these apartments. Well, she lived over in these. So, second floor apartment behind Dadeland Mall. Okay. So she was Kristen, a third grade Ludlam Elementary School gifted program. In the gifted program, was playing with her new skates when she vanished Saturday afternoon outside her stepfather's second floor apartment behind Dadeland Mall. So, yeah. So obviously, there's a mall around here somewhere. I don't know if it's still there, but I guess that's probably the mall right there. So it's right over here. It's not exactly right where they're saying, but her mother had bought the skates Saturday morning at a garage sale. So Kristen loved them. So she was so happy. I mean, see, think about that. Like, you got this caring mom who bought her kid some skates, and she was just so happy to go play with them. She didn't even want to take them off when she went to the beach with her stepfather, Ron Shirk. Kristen put on the skates as soon as she got back from the beach Saturday afternoon at about 3 p.m. and went stumbling down the second and third floor halls of Ron Shirk's apartment building, wearing a red sleeveless sundress and white trim and nautical with white trim and nautical insignia. She wasn't a very good skater, Beard said. Ron Shirk was washing clothes in the common laundry room down the What are you guys saying? Oh my God, what's going on in there? Laundry room hall from his apartment. As he crossed from the washing machines to his apartment, he could check on Kristen. When Ron Shirk came out to look at about 4 p.m., Kristen was gone. Kristen wasn't a person to wander off, Beard said. She was always responsible about staying where she was told. Ron Shirk started searching, growing increasingly frantic. He lost track of the doors he banged on, returning to the neighbors to ask again and again. Oh, man. You know, I mean, sometimes you kind of suspect, you start thinking of stepfather, you never know, but he sounds like, he was in that panic mode that you get, like, hell, just losing a dog goes missing and you freak out, He called the police soon. Are you guys interested in this one? I'm just curious. He called the police soon. The search involved police helicopters, 8 officers, a complex security guard, and countless neighbors who wandered through the complex in the darkness.
Better than a poke in the eye with a sharp stick. Wish me luck. 4-leaf clover.
What are you doing?
Exclamation mark.
Wish you luck for what? What are you doing? What is Blind Squirrel doing? I wish you luck. For what? I don't know. Are you getting surgery or something? Or Thank you, Blind Squirrel. I can't see it. I don't even know what you guys are reading up there. I don't see any comments by Blind Squirrel. Oh, the spin. I see. Oh, I see. I'm gonna spin for tonight a tumbler and a free cart mug, and then maybe a free cart mug with the sketch. All right, something like that. because of the generosity. So you got 3 chances. Oh, okay. Ron Shirk started searching, growing increasingly frantic. He lost track of the doors he banged on. He called the police soon. Soon the search involved police helicopters, 8 officers, a complex security guard, and countless neighbors. Sunday morning, an unidentified fisherman searching for a spot to cast his line found Kristen floating on the C-102 canal. So is that going to be something that's in here? Weird. Is that... No. Well, but this... Maybe that was the Air Force Base. Is that a... Oh yeah, so there it is. So that C-102 right here. And maybe that's the canal. Huh, interesting. I'll just put a pin right there. So C-102 canal. God, I think that might be it. Hold on, let me put it right here. I think this might be the spot. It's crazy. I'll show you later, but that looks so familiar. Like, that's great. That's nuts. All right, so let's just put that right there. I think that might be the spot. It all makes sense because that's the Homestead Air Force Base right in the area. Okay, 1.5 miles from where it meets Biscayne Bay. So I guess what we could do is just measure. That's Biscayne Bay over here, right? So let's measure right down the end, and I bet it goes, well, let's see. I don't know. 1.5 miles. Start right there. That's 0.5. That's 1. So then that would be 1.5. So I don't know. We'll see here in a minute. And actually, maybe it starts right over there. Hey, thank you. Joanne Allen. Because I can see that it looks like it may have gone to there at some point. So let me measure that again. So that's 1.29, so I think it's right there. Although, you know, geez, it's hard to really know for sure, because I don't think it's this one. Yeah, doesn't look like that. I saw a picture in a video taken at the time. So we'll look at that later though. Alright. So let me move on to the next one. 1990 in the next day in the paper. Oh yeah, Carol, look at the flowers? Is that what you are, Joanne? Awesome. Carol, look at the flowers. All right. Well, I missed that name now, though. I've been wondering. I haven't seen it for so long. Police press hard to find killer of 8-year-old girl. It might help if the roller skates could be found. Well, it's good to meet you and see your normal face, so that's good. So how's it going? It might help if the roller skates could be found. The skates Kristin Gray was having so much fun with that day would not take them off. She had them on the last time her stepfather saw her alive, rolling awkwardly on blue wheels along the hall outside of his apartments. The next time he saw her dead, she was barefoot. Kristen was murdered, Metro-Dade police said Monday. The Dade County medical examiner listed the cause of death as blunt trauma and manual asphyxiation. Police do not know who did it. Kristen was 8 years old The skates were a present from her mother. They were white shoe skates with blue stripes, Metro-Dade police spokesman William Kimbrough said Monday. She was still clothed in the same thing she had on before. People disappear all the time. They are killed. They are found in the Everglades by hunters, on trash piles, by scavengers, or in canals by probably fishermen. Come on, open up. By fishermen, as Kristin Gray was found Sunday. The police are used to it. They investigate methodically with scarcely more passion than a traffic cop puts into a parking ticket. The victim, they often surmise and confirm, were mixed up in bad things with bad people. They were 28 years old or 38, 48, but not 8. They were not learning ballet. They were not junior Girl Scouts with curly blonde hair and freckles on their noses, who went to church with their mothers every Sunday and were excited about being baptized soon. The police rarely have to investigate the murders of little girls in the 3rd grade who love to look after their little brothers and read them stories. Kristin Gray could have been 9 years old July 11th. In their minds, the police know such a life has no greater value than another. In their guts, they know it has. They work harder, tell less, care more. This is different. They feel it. It hurts. Investigators believe Kristen was put in the C-102 canal close to where fishermen found her at 8:20 a.m. Sunday in her sleeveless red sundress with a nautical insignia, the site where Southwest 107th Avenue Bridge, the canal crosses, well, let's see, here we go. That's 107. So the site where Southwest 107th Avenue bridges the canal and crosses 268, and there's 268. Boom. So I got it. Yeah, I knew that was the spot because I saw this pipe in a shot that we saw. All right, so that is the spot. Okay. The nearest developed property is a plant nursing on the corner 3/4 of a mile from the Southwest 112th Avenue of the Turnpike, the same distance northeast of Homestead Air Force Base and 11.5 miles south of the apartment where Kristen's stepfather, Ron Shirk, lives at 7487 Southwest 82nd. The fisherman discovery ended a 16-hour search. It began another for whoever took Kristen away, a pair of blue-wheeled roller skates. If anyone finds them and tells the police, I wonder if that's like a souvenir they kept. Probably gave it to their own daughter. Isn't that creepy? I bet you that happened. Nobody has come forward to say they spotted her after she was reported missing, the police spokesman said. Homicide detectives Monday. I mean, the person who killed her is a serial killer. Okay? People who do those kinds of killing, that's what they normally are. They're serial killer like people, although occasionally they just kill one person, as in the case of April Tinsley. Same age, everything. It's interesting, isn't it? Same age, everything, actually the same time frame. I think it was 89 in that one, I think, if I remember right. And, he only killed one, but he was like a serial killer, even taunting police, everything. Nobody has come forward to say they spotted her after she was reported missing. Homicide detectives Monday were still questioning neighbors in the apartment where Kristen's stepfather lives. They want to know if anyone has seen Kristen with anyone but Shirk, or in any car except his. He had taken her to the beach Saturday afternoon, still wearing the skates her mother, Suzanne Shirk, had bought at the garage sale earlier that day. After returning home, Shirk was washing laundry. How do they know this stuff? Is it just him saying this, though? After returning home, Ron Shirk was washing laundry, moving back and forth between his apartment and the laundry room. checking on Kristen each time he crossed the hall. The last time he looked, it was about 4 p.m. Kristen was gone. Sue Shirk is a born-again Christian whose faith enables her to bear her daughter's death with strength. She spoke of this tragedy with a clear, strong voice. I'm happy we found her body. I'm happy we don't have to go through that turmoil, she said Monday, imagining how it would have been to never know. God, how many times have I said that to you guys? She was crazy about her little brother, Stephen. He's 3.5, almost 4. She was protective and very attentive, being with him out of doors, keeping an eye on him at any time. She loved cats. We have a cat named Jasper, and she adored cats but was allergic to them, so they have to live outdoors. Kristen's bedroom in her mother's house behind South Miami Hospital is gray and pink, full of Barbie dolls, Girl Scout stuff, lots of books and Bible quotations on the walls. She was in the 3rd grade at Ludlam Elementary School. The children are very upset, Principal Donald Schwartz said. Grief counselors met with Kristen's classmates during the day Monday and her Girl Scout troop in the evening. Today, they will talk with parents of the other children. The school, like the church, was an important focus of Kristen's life. Since 1st grade, she had been in the classes for gifted children. She hated math but was good at it. Every time she came to any office, she played with the computer, said her mother, sounds like my brother, and the accounting clerk for the city of Coral Gables. She was divorced from Kristen's natural father, Tom Gray, before Kristen was 3, and later married Ron Shirk. They were divorced last November, but he remained a father to the child. Oh, really? That's kind of weird. She loved to be outdoors, Ron Shirk said. She loved to discover things. She loved fishing and shells and the ocean and finding things in the woods. She enjoyed riding her bike a lot. Lynn Phillips, minister of the childhood education of University Baptist Church in Coral Gables, said Kristen joined in November and was attending a new Christians class for children. She would have been eligible for baptism Sunday evening. Instead, the church members will gather for her funeral Wednesday at 10 a.m. in the church at 624 Anesthesia Avenue. She was a very sweet, quiet child, a very happy child, always smiling, Phillips said. She brought a lot of friends to Sunday school with her. Darlene Wellinghoff, her Sunday school teacher, will hold on to this. She had a way of looking at you that was kind of special. There was always a little smile there. Yeah. That sucks. Jeez. So now it's 1 month after. It has been 36 days since 8-year-old Kristin Gray was found floating in South Dade Canal. After conducting more than 1,000 interviews, offering a $16,000 reward and pleading for the community's help, police are no closer to solving the murder today than they were after finding the body. In an exhausting case, it's an exhausting case of the number of leads you're pursuing, said Metro Dade Homicide Detective Joe McMahon. Kristen, a blonde 3rd grader at Ludlam Elementary School, disappeared from her stepfather's apartment complex at 7487 Southwest 82nd Street about 4 p.m. She was found more than 16 hours later, face down in the canal. The new roller skates she had been wearing the day before were missing and have not been found. Over the last 2 weeks, the numbness has worn off and a lot of the hurt is coming through, said Ron Shirk, Kristen's stepfather. Sue Shirk, Kristen's mother, has been relying on her family, close friends, and lots of prayer to help her through. She admits sometimes she feels right there on the edge of breaking down. Everyone has been so supportive, but I still feel very confused, she said. So you know those earlier comments that she made about, it was, I know that the God... See, like you're kind of in shock, so she's saying all these things. But the reality is when somebody dies, you know, once it settles in and you start remembering just them, you know, being with you and just being, you know, like you remember them and you're sitting around, that's when it just really hits you like a ton of bricks. Like, wow, I was just talking to them. You remember how they laughed, you know, hell, the smell of their clothing, you know, it's just, it's, you know, it sucks, you know. That's all you got to say. There isn't really. So after a while, it really starts hitting you when you realize that you're never going to see them again, ever. So it's like, you know, first it's sort of new. You're kind of like, what's going on, you know. And then when the things kick in, like especially like, you know, only example I have is when I was, you know, I was 20 and my brother was 22 when he died, right? So then you think to yourself, I'm going to live. If I live to be old, I'll be living all those years without ever seeing him again. And so that is where the pain really starts kicking in, is when you start realizing that is the reality. Okay? And man, it's terrible. Police are wondering the same thing. For the past month, detectives have interviewed everyone living in the apartment complex where Kristen disappeared. They've gone to the site where she was found 3 times and had divers check the canal. They tracked down 20 or 30 tips that led nowhere. They've handed out flyers throughout the Kendall and Homestead. They've checked the backgrounds of a dozen known sex offenders living in the area and retraced every call for police help in the neighborhood for the past 2 months. The key to this case is out there. It's just a question of keeping at it. Man. I wonder if there's any, you know, all you can really hope for, sadly, is that there's DNA deposited, you know, in her somehow, and they collected that back then. That's it. Because this is one of those ones where she just went poof, right? And unfortunately, that would mean that she was assaulted in that way, which already seems likely. But at the same time, that's the only way some of these cases get solved, is by the DNA that's found on the person. So blood tests sought in girl's murder. See, that's sort of interesting, right? The investigation into the murder of 8-year-old Kristin Gray took an unexpected high visibility turn Saturday. A task force of Metro-Dade homicide detectives went door to door seeking blood samples from residents of the apartment complex where the little girl disappeared. I wonder if that was a mental test to see who would refuse, or if it was literally they have some samples. Starting at about 7 a.m., police asked people living in the Dadeland Capri apartments at 7487 Southwest 82nd to voluntarily submit blood tests. See, there you go. See, homicide detectives on the scene, and they're requesting assistance. So they're going around just like, hey, everybody, would you mind helping us out with a blood sample? And they're going to be focused in on the people who say no. So I don't know if it means anything. Let's see if it does. I don't know. Homicide detectives are on the scene, and they are requesting assistance. They like them to come out and give sample of their blood for typing, said police spokesman Ralph Fernandez. An overwhelming majority, but not all, of the apartment dwellers complied. The reason investigators are doing this is that they found blood at one of the crime scenes. What do you mean, one of the crime scenes? The spokesman said he could not comment about what crime scene was involved. Kristen, who had been wearing a pair of roller skates, vanished from the apartment complex on the afternoon of February 3rd. The next morning, a fisherman found her body floating in a canal about 11 miles to the south. She had been manually asphyxiated. When Kristen disappeared, her stepfather, Ronald Shirk, was doing the wash in a second-floor laundry room at the complex. Kristen had been skating nearby, and believe it or not, this next article is the last one I could ever find in the newspaper, and this is still in 1990, but four months later. This is the second half. Her roller skates have never been found. Fernandez declined to say if the blood test would include high technology genetic testing. That's a part of the investigation that I can't get into. Man, I sure as hell hope so, that they've kept this whole time. Metro Police have a new sophisticated lab where the basic genetic material, DNA, can be analyzed. A person's DNA is an identification. So this is 1990. See, this is like they barely even heard about it right here. A person's DNA is an identifiable as fingerprints. Body fluids found at crime scenes can thus be linked to a specific individual. They didn't realize how far that was going to come. At the Capri Complex Saturday, people lined up to cooperate with the blood test request. The procedure was done in a long white motorhome marked as Metro Dade Mobile Command Center. The vehicle sat in the parking lot at the complex. When I got here, they had at least 12 people in the trailer waiting. It's just a simple prick on the finger and a little drop of blood, the spokesman said. In return, the residents are getting to know what type of blood they have. They also could get free soft drinks, coffee, donuts, you know. Shirk and Kirsten's mother, Sue, spent some time at the complex Saturday to encourage people to aid the investigation. Bill Wrigley was among those who volunteered to be tested. He said he wished that the testing had been done closer to the date of the crime. A lot of people have moved out of here since then, he said. People at the Capri do not resent the test. They want to get to the bottom of it. A lot of them have kids of their own. They want to get to the bottom. He had, let's see, a lot of them have kids of their own, he said. He had only one complaint. They woke me up at 7:45. Man, I could never do that. I don't like getting up that early. I wondered what it was all about, waking people up so early, Wrigley said. Everybody has man, would you like to be woken up at 8 in the morning and say, hey, can we go ahead and can we get some we just need a blood test from you. I mean, just picture you right now, you guys. You're in bed in your neighborhood and the door knocks and somebody goes, hey, get up. All right, get up. Hey, we were just wondering, would you be willing to do a blood test really quick? We'll get you some donuts. Yeah, it wouldn't work for me, I can tell you that. Everybody has all kinds of theories, said another resident, Rita Brookshire. And everybody feels bad about the girl and wishes they would find the murderer. Until this blood was found, there had been nothing as far as we know, she said. I wonder where they're getting that blood from. Another resident, Diane Estevez, said she was hopeful that the test would end the suspense that has been hanging over the Capri. I don't like to speculate, but the whole thing was very strange, she said. Everybody suspects everybody else. Yeah, and then all there is after that is this little video. But money? What does that mean, Kevin? I don't even know what that means. You're going to have to write a better sentence than that. You can tell this is pretty old, right?
Yes, join the police force! The Miami-Dade Police Department!
A Kendall girl went missing. 8-year-old Kristin Gray was last seen roller skating down the hall just outside her stepfather's apartment. She was told to stay within sight, but she apparently traveled nearly 20 miles away from home, only not voluntarily. A fisherman found her body floating in a canal just a day.
See, when I saw this pipe right here, I remembered it, and then I was like, ah, there it is. See? It's right there.
A day later, the canal was in a remote area west of the turnpike, next to Homestead Air Force Base. That was nearly 20 years ago. At the time, Kristen's mother was interviewed and hopeful.
Once this gets solved and
and you can kind of go on with your life maybe at that point. I'm hoping that
You must
that
be
I
on
can
rewind mode, Kevin.
have a
We're doing
great
something else
future,
now.
but without her, unfortunately.
But on the 20th anniversary,
And you can kind of go on with your life maybe at that point.
That's the
I'm
mom.
hoping that I can have a great future, but without her, unfortunately.
But on the 20th anniversary of her daughter's death, Sue Beard is left with memories, and the police is left with an unsolved murder mystery.
Usually on our anniversary, it's very difficult for me. I really feel the loss. I usually go to her memorial tree and spend time. And it's just a very sad time to be everybody.
Who killed 8-year-old Kristin Gray? She would have been 28 years old by now. Your friend, your neighbor, perhaps married with children who'll be playing with your own kids. Any minor detail you remember could be that vital clue investigators need to help close this case and bring much-needed closure to the family.
We have received a tip from an anonymous person, and we want to thank that person for taking the time to provide this information. But any additional information that can be provided by the community will be of great help to the investigators, and we're hoping that anybody that can recall anything regarding this incident, to please contact Crime Stoppers at 471-TIPS. Hopefully it can lead to an arrest, close the case, and have some closure for the family.
She had been left there alone for somebody to find her, and then when the person found her, the fisherman that found her, just was so sorrowful, and he couldn't believe it was a child that was left dead like that. And that was what I was thinking when I was there. I was like, yeah, that's a pretty rotten person who would kill a kid and then just throw him, try to hide a body in a canal. I mean, that was just really where I was.
I mean, so it's crazy because somebody literally just drove out here. Hopefully they weren't somebody on the military base there, but could have been somebody out here, and they just drove out here, saw a canal. It almost like they came out, drove this way, saw the canal here, and pulled over and just threw her body off the end. And I think this is that same waste sort of backwater that they were looking at, where stuff piles up. Same thing right there. And they just threw her there and then drove some direction. We don't know. Did the killer go there to get her? I mean, we have no way to triangulate or think about it. And then drive this way on the way back to where they are from, or did they live near where she was, drive out here to dump her body, then go back to the area, where they abducted her from, because that's where they live.
My firstborn. To destroy her. Like, take the life away from her. Makes no sense.
If you have any recollection of this incident, please call Miami-Dade Crime Stoppers at 305-471-TIPS. That's 305-471-8477. All callers remain completely anonymous.
Oh, there you go. I think I lost the oh, thanks Aaron for the Cash app. Just saw that. Hold on. So let me put a picture of her up on the screen again. So this is her right there. Her mother had just given her some skates. She was so excited. She wore them all the time, but she had to take them off when she went to the beach with her stepdad, and then when she got back home, she quickly put the skates back on and was skating around while the dad was doing laundry, and then she just disappeared. And then the next day, or I think it was the next day, she was found in a canal that we just showed you on the screen a minute ago. And they've made, I mean, it's so little information to go on, it's crazy. Almost nothing. It's just absolute nightmare. You know? You know, the part that bugs me the most sometimes is like you look at their face and they're just so innocent and happy, but you know their face didn't look like that at all when the barbarian was killing them. Or, you know, doing whatever they were doing before they killed him. You know? It's just, God. Yeah, that part just drives me nuts. I just try not to think about that stuff too often, or I couldn't do the show. Alright. Anyways, could you guys quit typing so much? It's really driving me nuts. So thank you on PayPal to hold on, Mel A. All right, Mel A with a double cat eye, and then Dana. I'm not sure what her. I'll just say Dana P, since I don't know what I don't know what her YouTube name is, but that was a 1.5 cat eye. That's what's weird. As I was thinking in my head, nobody's ever sent me $75 before. I was thinking, I've never seen that pop up on YouTube. And then randomly, in a PayPal, that's what it was. I was like, oh my God, what are the odds of that? Crazy, yeah. Alright, then we've got I'm just trying to find the location where I can find all the PayPals that came in. It wasn't a big volume of super chats, but the super chats themselves were. So we had the Velvet Army, Eugenie, Tina Susser, Tracy, Kathy Friedemaker, Deb Godfrey, Tawny Lee, Cindy Leon, Billy Juliana, Cammie Nielsen, Vale, K-Dog, Kathy Friedemaker, and then all of a sudden out of nowhere, Quietly Frozen came in with a quadruple cat eye donation. She said, have to watch later, facts, maps, and the truth straight up. Thank you, Gray, and all the freaks are amazing. Pass it on. So when she says pass it on, that means if she wins the spin, I'll be spinning again. And then, let's see, Vale said earlier, caller, my thoughts are with you. I do relate. Gray, thank you for your sensitivity. But the other person said, you seem rude to your caller. Remember that one? Oh, yeah, and then that's when Tawny Lee sent in the better start with the troll fund. And then Deb Godfrey had said, thank you, Gray, for... and mods, you are awesome, and I enjoy your chat, so informative. There we go. And let's go back up here. So we had Quietly Frozen, and then Mel A said PayPal is my old last name. Here's another cat eye donation. So thank you very much. Then Cindy Leon, and then QWERTY again. No, this is QWERTY's first one. Came in with a double cat eye. She says, for all your hard work, for all your hard work. And then QWERTY again sent in a quadruple cat eye right after that, saying, let's win this. And then Mel A sent in a double cat eye. I'm not putting up with these shenanigans. And then QWERTY put in another double cat eye donation. So good night all. But she never answered my question, how she knows about that area in Portland. Then the blind squirrel, better than a poke in the eye with a sharp stick, wish me luck. And then Joanne Allen, awesome, there we go. All right, so I have, during the show I put everybody in the spin, but man, that was amazing, you guys. That absolutely was, totally unexpected. I mean, those ones, without those really huge ones tonight, we would have been like not even halfway to a mug. you know, it was pretty amazing. It was like insane that it was just like, how did that happen? Man, I guess you just never know sometimes. All right, let's see. I appreciate everybody for helping out. Very cool. You know, hit that like button if you can, too. And man, doesn't that just bug you, cases like that? You know? I mean, why doesn't that one get talked about at all? But Summer Wells, boy, you get like everybody still just live show after live show after live show with nothing new, just the drama, and that's it. Man, it'd be cool if people open this one up again, you know? All right. Here we go for the spin, you guys. Look at the look at the pie thing. But as soon as one of the big ones win, then it goes away. So what we're gonna do is the everything tumbler, and let's see, everything tumbler, and how about everything tumbler and 2 free cart mugs? Is that good? Because tonight's night was like 2.5 times a normal night, so we're gonna do the everything tumbler and 2 free cart mugs. All right, so the first spin is for the everything tumbler. Yeah, these are. All right, so here we go. Here we go. Look at that. $40 right off the bat. There's no way. Yeah, when you own about 90% of all the. Watch when I remove all of hers. Watch this. Now look at the pie. It's almost somewhat normal. There's still some big ones on there though. Okay, so QWERTY won, but she says I'm supposed to give it to Chasing. So maybe I'll give her like I don't know. She already has one, so maybe I'll get the. What do you call it? The mod tumbler, and that way she's not on the list anymore for the mod tumblers. And she's not really doesn't come here as a mod that much, you know. All right, so there we go, and then we're gonna do the 2 free cart mugs, which are you can only get on the show. All right, so and shuffle again. Here we go. Oh yeah, Melissa Adams snuck in there. Yeah, Quietly Frozen was the next one on there. Alright, so let me shuffle again. You guys ready? Here comes the last one. Here we go. The free cart mug. Yeah, you won, Mel. Oh, Quietly Frozen one, so that's a spin again. Except, since we're spinning again, that means I remove all hers. And if you win again, Mel A, with your other name, it's still gonna. I'm gonna spin again, all right? Because your names were, you had 2 different names. But you won the free cart mug. So in your email, send me that you won the free cart mug, and well, just send me your email, okay? With your address and everything. All right, so we're gonna spin again, but if it lands on the Mel_A, we're spinning again. All right, so here we go. Shuffle. Yeah, you can only win one. And it's going to do that. It did it too, see? So here we go. We're going to remove all those. That's just because you had a different name. It would have removed them all after the first one. All right, shuffle, shuffle, shuffle. Man, look at the pie now. It's really narrowing down. People have better chances. There we go. for the Freak Heart mug. Oh, look at that. Dana Prevost. Boom. All right. And when you remove that, that was the remaining. Although I think the second winner though was the actual. Let's see. Wait. Who won the? I'm not sure where we're at here. What are we at? Did we give away 3 mugs or 4? I don't even remember now. Hell, I can't remember now. Oh yeah, so it was QWERTY, Mel A, and Joanne. No, well, it wasn't Joanne. Who was the one that just? Yeah, Joanne Allen, right? No, is that who just won this? My brain is. I'm just totally out of it at this point. You know who the winners are. It said it on the screen. I don't have a rewind button. Right, I know I spun again. Right. Oh, so was Dana... Did Dana P win the... Yeah, there she goes. That's why I removed it. Okay, so that was it. Alright, that was it. Yeah. Maybe here's what I'll do. For the I'm going to do the... this is crazy. But for the remaining people here, I'm going to do the... Freak Heart mug with the Freak Heart mug with the sketch on it. All right, so there we go. So that's we're gonna do it again, even though a really small number here. Look at that, Aaron Bremer. There you go. All right. So we gave away 4 different objects tonight. Let's see, it was 1 tumbler, 2 Freak Heart mugs, and a let's see, the Freak Heart mug with a sketch. All right, there you go. Awesome. Thank you guys for being here tonight. Very cool. You know, there was just so much generosity. You have to give back there. It was almost like a mini donation night there. It was wild. Wild. All right, so that's it, you guys. I hope you guys found the show interesting. Pretty crazy stuff going on out there. You know, we had the case with the lady that didn't even know she was pregnant and just threw it in the bag and into the woods. I don't believe her story at all, unfortunately. I think she's a psycho. You know. Yep. All right, you guys. We'll see you guys tomorrow. And man, I gotta get some hot chocolate or something. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Thank you guys very much, and thank you for being so generous. I really appreciate it. It's gonna make a big difference at the end of the month. All right, but we only got 6 more normal days, and then our donation night, the last push night, and see where we're at. All right. So thank you guys again. See you tomorrow, and as I always say, until next time, be safe out there. Yeah, I've been doing this true crime thing for quite a while now, and during this whole time, I have not seen one person that is a crime dissector, plug rejector. I'm a certified human lie detector. Gonna get ya on a stretcher if you try and play me like an old projector. Crime sector is my nectar. Professor Gray is gonna give another lecture. Crime collector, freak connector, and I'm always gonna be a pop protector, fool deflector, interceptor, and I'm meaner than a specter with a vector on his vector. With all respect, yo, just remember I've a table fucking check, yo. I have no agenda. I'm a pretender, and I'll serve it to you straight without the blender. And in the end, I'm gonna send ya on a mission to reveal the true offender. Yeah, so I'll just get right back to work. All right, everybody? Talk to you later.
All right, everybody! Yay!
Gee.
Are you smoking those low-cal cigarettes again with Ritson?
I sure am, Gray. They're good for you now. They're low-cal.
But all cigarettes are low calories. In fact, they don't have calories, you idiot. You just caved into a fake ad campaign.
Did you call me an idiot? I guess it was kind of stupid, though, wasn't it?
Yes, it really was. It was absolutely idiotic that you started smoking the low-cal cigarette brand merely because they were low-cal when all cigarettes are obviously 0 calories.
Yeah, that's a good point, Gray. Good night, everybody. Gee.
Oh, there we go. All right, we'll see you guys tomorrow. Be safe out there. Mary Lou.